the screen says waiting for road reality. Hey, yes. Welcome everybody. We've got a huge panel. I've got plenty of people waiting in the wings. So if you piss me off, I'm just going to drop you out. And if you try to get me demonetized, I'll add somebody else back in. But we've got Jarvis below me, Black Phoenix to my right, and then Rody, Technic, and Minomoto. So most of the crew that I rode to and from VAMM with. And hot off the press, I have to double check, but I rendered the last video for the VAMM series. So those will be going live later this week or weekend. And I just about beat Ryan's length of video.
Did you? Like total with all the videos you got?
Okay, Minnow, you just need to talk. That's it. Over.
We can't unmute your mic.
Yeah, unmute your mic.
Muted.
Yep.
Technical difficulties.
Minnow, your mic's not working.
Yeah, something's not working over there.
Yep. You know what? We may not have room for him. Yep.
Bye. See ya.
Hey, we've got Patrick. See, I told you we're gonna do round robin style here. We've got Moto Ramblings there who showed up for the last day. What's happening, Mr. G? Maurice.
Mr. G's in the chat.
I see that.
Nice.
Special shout out to Mr. G for putting on VAMM. That was a hell of a show.
It was awesome stuff this year.
And Dewey Rides is in there. He's trying to mess with us. He's done a couple of motorcycle trips.
No, not Dewey.
Yeah, he's done just a couple. But we're not here to talk about him. We're here to get rid of Patrick. There's a guy that does road trips. Road Glide Andy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you have the titanium things on your floorboards, right?
Something like that.
It's
Jarvis
just nuts, man.
Jarvis Biker's got some good footage of them, I believe.
On who?
Jarvis Biker's got some good footage of them.
Well, I got footage on everybody. The only thing that didn't turn out was the 360 stuff. Some setting was off. I had to upload and re-flash the camera to get rid of whatever it was. It was on like super slow motion and you couldn't do anything to change it.
I had
so all the video I took of the whole day is like really slow and it takes like 9,000 years to process it all. Like one section of the video took like 2 days to render it. With the software for Insta360. So
all my 360 stuff was in hyper speed. The whole thing, the whole back of the Dragon was hyper speed. I don't know what the heck happened with my 360 camera.
Well, that's the perfect speed to show 32 miles in 3 minutes.
Yeah. I could use the footage, to do that. So because I asked you, John, and what you thought about that, and he says if I slow it down, it gets very choppy. So
yeah. You got to use like the speed warp in DaVinci Resolve to interpolate the missing frames.
Yeah.
Or just play it at super speed.
Software that is. So.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Resolve's great. You might need the studio version to get that speed warp feature.
No, I was talking about from Ohio. I thought you had some good footage of them.
I got lots of you throwing sparks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got shit ton of that. So, yeah. Once I jumped in front of Patrick, I kind of said, excuse me, I have to get a video of this. I just kind of went around him and ducked back in right on your back wheel so that I could get it. And I flipped the handlebar camera around. I had it on an angle. So as you went down and cut across the corner in front of me, you went right through the view of that camera throwing sparks. So I'm editing that portion of it right now. It's not done yet. So
well,
I still have the Ohio Windy 9 footage. So
I kind of stole your little thing that you told me about, and I did that on a couple of the videos. So I'm still playing with it, but I did get it to work.
The opacity part, like making two into one. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's a handy little trick. It works well. And I've used that even with the Final Cut Pro and what I used before it. But DaVinci makes it a lot easier to do. Once you learn DaVinci, then it's easier.
Yeah, you got to get the shortcuts down in that app.
Yeah, the masking's a little bit of an issue for me yet, because like I used to put a mask and I'd kind of oval the other views so that they were kind of blended in. But right now I just leave them square, rectangular shape and don't mess with them. I've done some of the masking, but I need to have a lesson with John to teach me to. I need to make that like I can just reach over and grab it from the.
Yeah. Do you have the studio version?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what you're looking for is called the DVE effect.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It automatically puts it in a window. You can put a border on it, drop shadow. It's all done in 30 seconds.
DVE.
Yep. DVE effect. Hey, Code Gray's in the side chat. I saw Bob Nelson, Sterling Wheel, Mr. G, of course, Blue Bike and Doyle. We've got all sorts of people watching today. This is awesome.
Yeah.
So I wanted to thank you guys for coming on and helping me out with my first big road trip, because that was absolutely bonkers. I'd never done anything like that. And to have such friendly people made it really cool, except Roadie Rides. We're going to drop Roadie Rides. Bye. We're going to bring in Minomoto, who's chewing. Hey, I'm the waitress that walks up. How's your food? Is his mic working yet?
I've been riding all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were in Fredericksburg earlier, right?
Still there. There's a hog rally.
Oh, nice.
I'm a nerd.
Okay, John. So back to your thing about being there, because you keep saying that there was something wrong or that you weren't too sure of yourself. But every time I looked in my mirror, you were right in the exact same spot. We never lost you. You were a little bit farther back. You were being cautious, but you weren't right on my back tire. But,
cautious, yeah.
Well, everybody.
I told you when we stopped at the lookout.
Everybody was riding the same speed because you didn't get any farther back on me. Even in the rain, you didn't get that far back. So I don't know where you think you were doing something different than everybody else. You were right there with everybody. You did fine.
Well, it was the 2-mile split between me and Nana Grace on the back of the Dragon. I was like, yep. I put that bike in second gear and I rolled on the throttle for more speed and I released the throttle for less speed. And that was
everybody else was doing too, John. Everybody else
that?
Same thing.
That's
what we were. Might have been third gear, but
yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You were doing fine. I didn't see any issue with you.
And to be fair, Jim really drives his trike like crazy, so I wouldn't worry about being behind him.
Yeah.
And
in who I was behind a lot was Superman Kev. Hey, Superman Kev.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Kev, I got a mouth.
What do you mean? I got one of them too.
Yep. He's going to make muff jokes. Bye. I'd rather have rooster jokes.
Yeah, well, we had a lot of those, didn't we?
There was a lot.
Yeah.
It was endless.
There's a lot of bro stuff, if we want to call it that.
Yeah.
No, we don't.
Hey,
Patrick!
He's back.
Now there was an incident in Ohio, and Patrick was going to be the deciding factor on who was telling what, and mysteriously lost the video on it. So
yeah. There
was some malarkey went on with the actual video.
There's still a little bit more I haven't gone through, but I have a few in front.
I can't believe that. All the people that were there with cameras, nobody had a camera rolling at that point
At
where
that
I just
It was right at the end. That's why, and everybody's cameras are like mine had all crapped out. I'd been running them all day long. So
Okay, I'm in the dark, guys. Tell me what happened.
Andy and I had a little run, and it was like I give a little bump of the throttle, and then I let off, and then Andy hit it, and he got a little bit about a bike jump on me, and then I was catching up to him.
I gapped him.
And then we ran out of road and had to back her off.
We didn't run out of road. I ended up being a quarter mile ahead of him. I looked back in the mirror and I was like, oh my God, I better slow down.
My front wheel was right beside your passenger's leg is where it was. And you can ask her because she was looking.
She wasn't on the bike for that one.
For that one? No, she was on one of them.
No, that was the evening ride.
We had video of it.
Yeah, I figured somebody would have had it, but
This
it could be on the 360, but it'll be really slow, and it's only that side. It'll only show that.
It sounds like a challenge.
That's okay.
I don't know if it
We'll
was
do it
running
again.
or not, so.
September, we'll do it again.
All right.
And I'll get right behind both of you.
I won't have a catalytic converter by then, so.
So on the way down,
Even better.
me and John, we were doing about what, 70? And he got it on camera, me and him fist bumping going down 81. And I know how long he's been riding for, and I've been riding a long time. And I was like, oh boy, I don't know how good this is gonna go, but we're gonna give this a shot because he tempted the first time. And I didn't know he was doing it. And then you'll see where we did it, and he was like, he couldn't believe it. He was like, holy crap, I got it. And he has it on video.
That's
So
not
he was
my
pretty
first one,
excited.
though. If you go back in my catalog, I crossed the Chesapeake Bay Bridge with a different motovlogger, and we got a fist bump 200 feet above the water on the bridge.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Romantic.
Yeah, and
it was romantic.
You talk all this smack on yourself, John, like you can't ride and you can't lean your bike and stuff like that. But from watching your videos of you riding around the house, you seem a little nutty on there and you do some pretty silly stuff at times. And I'm not saying in big groups and on big road trips to do that kind of stuff, but I mean, it's a comfort zone. You're on unfamiliar roads and unfamiliar territory, so you're being a little more cautious. But you have to, the best piece of advice I could personally give you is you have to stay a little bit relaxed in your mind and figure out a way to be a little more comfortable, out of your comfort zone.
Well, I'm working on that. I've got some plans in the works to get better at leaning the bike over, because it's one thing to ride along one-handed and get selfies of myself, but it's quite another to lean the bike over going around a corner. I only got like 2 minutes of footage from the back of the Dragon, by the way.
That bike will lean.
There is one story that needs to be told, and Travis wants to tell it.
Hey, which one?
The restaurant story you said.
Oh, the restaurant story.
No.
Oh my God. Let me warn anybody who hangs out with these guys. Andy wasn't in there. Who else was with us? It was Ryan and then
DP.
Oh shit, Minnow was with us.
there. Yeah.
And,
oh my God, we split off from the group after our thing. We went down into the caves or whatever for the coal mine, and we stopped at this restaurant and
Mikado's.
Mikado's. Literally from the moment our waiter walked up to our table, he was on the floor laughing his ass off because we're a bunch of 10-year-old children making all kinds of really inappropriate. My wife is just shaking her head, just like.
I thought she was going to throw something heavy at me.
Well, my wife would do that on any given day. You just have to understand that my wife that way.
She would throw something heavy at me?
Oh yeah, just out of, just because.
I don't think she liked me very much.
Oh, she liked you just fine, John. It was, trust me, we work in the transportation industry, and the truckers are far worse than but you guys were hilarious, and between the cock jokes and the it was terrible.
Oh yeah, when our waiter just about fell over,
Yeah,
I was
did.
laughing so hard.
He was literally falling over onto the floor. It was both hilarious and terrible at the same time. It was,
I don't think the guy could catch his breath. I think he needed
couldn't.
oxygen. He was dying. I can't believe it. He was. Oh, that was funny.
he
That was
he
hilarious.
couldn't even take our order. It was so bad. I mean,
Yeah.
He came back like twice.
3 times.
Oh,
No, it
yeah.
was 3 times. He came back 3 times.
Yeah.
It was bad. And I didn't get any footage from any of that because
No.
my video literally
None of us
stops.
did.
Like we're riding there and then we're riding back.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ryan
the only
got
thing-
some of it.
Yeah, the
was
only thing I
nuts.
got was in the movie. That one little clip about maybe us getting kicked out, and that was it.
Yeah.
It was absolutely ridiculous at that restaurant.
Yeah.
I warned Technic Rides and everybody when I met them. I was like, look, I respond to nervous situations one of 2 ways. I either drink copious amounts of alcohol or I make inappropriate jokes. So there was no alcohol about. So, you know,
John had a lot of energy.
I still do.
He got a lot of energy.
That's not gone yet.
Oh no, the energy is still there, and like I've spent 21 hours editing the footage, and it's just this gotta go energy just to edit the footage. So it's been crazy.
Though you your energy level is so high that by day 2 though, when we were at the restaurant, the bar, you could see where it did take a toll on you though, and you know that you were kind of like spent at that point, and we were a little concerned about we're concerned about you at that point because you were coming down off that high, and
that was a combination of the noise in the restaurant, the go and overstimulation all day, and a lack of proper food and drink.
Mm-hmm.
That was 100% attributable to all of that. And absolutely, I hit a wall, and I was like, I got to go now, or I'm not going to make it back.
Yeah, you definitely have to stay hydrated.
Yeah.
It was
You should get
hydration.
plenty of nutrition while you're out riding because it'll take its toll on you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's why I made the after action report video.
When you walked up to our table and I started cracking jokes and you weren't cracking jokes back at me, and I looked at you and I'm like, I could tell you weren't. It wasn't you, and I'm like, something's wrong here. And I kind of said something. I think I said something to BPE about it, and then then when I went out to the parking lot, I guess one of them talked to you, and then I went out to the parking lot, and I had my conversation with you, but I knew right away because the last time I went, we had an incident similar to what was happening to you, and I didn't want to see that happen again. That's not a pretty sight.
Yeah, I'm not aware of any prior incidents, but
I witnessed it at another event, the event that I had gone to prior to VAMM.
Okay.
And I saw it when I looked at you. I knew what was going on, and I'm like, "Oh boy, here we go again."
I 100% appreciate the concern,
Mm-hmm.
and luckily I figured out a while ago. Like, here's a few signs to look for. It's time to dip.
Any of you guys out there in the side chat, I'm just gonna throw this out to you. You must drink water while you are riding, and you might not feel thirsty. You might not, might not even be hungry, but you need to force yourself to drink that water, because if you don't, believe me, bad things happen.
What are you drinking?
Water.
No. Goodbye, Rody. I'm just kidding. I got him.
But that's a good point because me and Rhoda, we got stuck for hours in traffic between New York and Connecticut, and it was like probably at least 100 on the highway. And I did the exact opposite, and we had to stop again. I overhydrated, thinking that we were going to be stuck there and sweating it all out, and I ended up not doing it. I'm like, dude, I got to stop again because this is all coming out.
Yeah.
Me and the wife, because we've had that problem doing the road trip thing before, where especially when you're just hammered down, you're just trying to get where you're trying to be 200-300 miles, and you don't realize that you've maybe drank 1 bottle of water in 8 hours. It's not enough.
Yeah, you need your electrolytes as well too.
So we started. I have a water bottle. I'm sure y'all saw it on the bike. I put the big cup holders in so we can So we don't, we do drink when we stop, but we also don't, if we feel like we need to, we don't have to stop.
Right. We found me and BP found drinking the Gatorade with electrolytes in it really makes you feel so much better. So we ended up getting Minnow to start drinking that, and he even agreed with it. He goes, "Wow, it is a big difference drinking something with electrolytes in it." It's like, and then somebody mentioned salt. I think it was Dewey mentioned about taking salt too, so that helps you retain the water.
I started drinking Prime. That's like I think it's got electrolytes in it.
Yeah, there's different versions of that. So
yeah,
the
non-caffeinated kind.
The non-caffeinated.
Yeah. But like Gatorade and like I think it's Powerade and a lot of those and vitamin water have a lot of sugar in them, and it's at least for me it makes me crash pretty hard.
Coffee.
Yeah. But that makes me stop a lot.
I kind of fall in between. I need a little bit of caffeine and a little bit of sugar to.
Yeah.
But yeah, you definitely don't want to just chug that stuff. Just like the energy drinks are not good for you.
Sip it.
And
you need to sip it.
But yeah, staying hydrated when you're on the road, man, is huge piece of riding long distance. You know what I mean? Most people who ride 100, 150 miles a day never experience that. But you start riding 300, 400, 500 miles in a day, which I know, Ryan, you and John hustled coming back just like what we did. And man, like I said, it'll tear you up, and you'll feel like such crap the next day.
Oh yeah. Oh, 100%.
And it creeps up on you too. You don't realize until it's almost too late.
It hits you like a wall.
Oh yeah. And you're right. The caffeine didn't really help.
You gotta moderate that.
No.
Yeah, you gotta. That's why. I mean, I know Randy saw me. I was switching between like sodas and different, water and stuff like that when we were stopping and eating. I'm like, you kind of moderate the stops. Like, I need water this stop. I need something else this stop, and then kind of do it that way.
I got heat stroke once. I was on the Gold Wing, and it was the last time I wore a full face helmet during hot weather, and it was probably a couple of weeks for me to get over it.
Oh yeah.
The wife and I in 15 when we were down in Tennessee, we ran like 1,100 miles in one day, and she was asleep. She couldn't stay awake. She was drinking 5-hour energies, the coffee things, and all kinds of stuff. She couldn't stay awake.
Oh yeah, it's definitely hard on you. I ran out of coffee on the way home. I started pumping Gatorade. I went through like 3 bottles between Roanoke and home.
Well, and a lot of people don't realize when you're going down the road, and a lot of us don't wear full jackets and and all that all the time, or so much of the time, depending on who you are. And they don't realize that wind literally just takes the moisture out of you physically.
And the sun beating down on you.
Yeah.
That was my biggest issue, was this lack of sunscreen on day one just absolutely zonked me out that night. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, they say them riding jackets and stuff like that, they really help out with keeping you cool.
The water jackets, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I can tell you, just wearing the light mesh jacket that I wear in the summer makes a huge difference in my comfort for a 6-7 hour ride, because I don't get the sunburn on my arms and I'm not overheating on my skin there. It's just my face and neck that get roasty toasty.
Yeah, that Icon jacket I had was pretty good on the highway and stuff.
Yeah, that's similar to the Joe Rocket that I've got.
Yeah, it just gets the airflow going throughout the whole body.
Patrick, bite your tongue. I need the coffee to get going and the Gatorade to keep going.
There you go.
So, John,
I'm not bringing Patrick back on. He's dead to me.
So, John, this was you said this was your first long ride ever?
Yeah, the most I'd ever done before this was 200 miles in a day. And
that's a hell of an accomplishment, really. If you think about just riding down there, then all the riding we did for VAMM, and then riding back.
It was only 260 miles while I was down there. It was like 400 down, 400 back, and then everything in the middle.
Yeah,
there's a lot more, and that's a lot of people don't think about that. you know, just like the Back of the Dragon and Tail of the Dragon, when you do those rides, those will feel like you did 500 miles.
Mm-hmm.
You're physically exhausted when you get done with those type of rides.
And it didn't help it rained for you too up there, riding in the rain in you know, twisty roads like that. If you've never done it before, it can be quite, you know, scary. You can you know,
I can attest to that.
yeah. I mean, I've done it, so I would knew what to expect as soon as that happened. Jarvis was behind me, so he could, you know, he was giving me. I thought something was wrong because he was kind of staying behind a distance behind me. I'm like, oh, what was going on? And then just later on, he just, you know, he was just giving me space because he sees how I ride.
Rides like a asshole.
I was kind of like almost bumping Chris's back tire. You know, going, I was having fun actually. You know, it was
Mr. G's comment. That's great.
Just for anybody who doesn't know where we were at Tazewell, Virginia, and that's pretty much where Mr. G lives. So he has probably some of the best riding in the country in his backyard.
Yes, he does.
So does Toby Northern. Toby's got a lot of good place up there in Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
It's there's some really good roads around there. Just
what's up, Harley Day Rider?
Yeah.
Howdy. Our good buddy HDR.
HDR's in the house. Yeah, we rode Kentucky. We got there with the RV, pulled the bikes out on the first night, and we had to go to Walmart to get some food, right? Because the nice U.S. border guards took all our food away at the border.
Did they really?
So yeah, bird flu and something else. Took all our bacon and eggs and stuff. So anyway, I just punched in. I just picked up the phone and said, "Siri, take us to the nearest Walmart," and hung it up on the dash, and away we went. And probably one of the best motorcycle roads I'd ever been on. It was like awesome. I was like, we were talking on the two-way, and I was saying to Nick, I said, "This is turning out pretty good." So, yeah, there's some nice roads in Kentucky too, all the way down through that. I guess it's probably the same mountain range, isn't
Kentucky,
it?
West Virginia, Southern Ohio.
Yeah.
I mean, parts of Virginia.
Yeah, Southern Ohio had some pretty good ones.
I mean,
up in Pennsylvania, there was quite a few roads. When I went to South Carolina from Pennsylvania, I went like, say, the middle of Pennsylvania down right through, and I got on this little 2-lane thing, and it was all tree covered. It was just like going through a tunnel pretty near the whole morning. It was a cool little road too. So they got some there too. And every corner there was a guy. There's a little stream right along the road. There was a guy fishing every freaking turn.
Yeah, we did a road like that coming back from Markport, coming through Pennsylvania, up by what's that bridge, the Kinzua Bridge and all that stuff. We stopped there on our way back from Markport, and then we just jumped on the 2-lane and brought it all the way back. It was.
Yeah, it's all good. Like where Kev lives, it's like straight, square. All the blocks are rectangular shape. It's not a corner. Like you could, but it's a different. You get up on these high points and you can see for like 15 miles, like just right across all the farmland all the way down. Especially when the crops are small, like in the early summer, springtime, you can ride along up where Kev is, and it's actually very scenic, very vista like views.
Yeah, we did some really good rides, Wayne and I, and Wayne was commenting. He said, "Wow, the roads where you are so different than where I am, and we only live about 2 hours apart."
Yeah,
you know.
Well, I'm right along the lakes. Like I'm in between Lake Ontario and Lake Erie, and it's very, very highly populated, most of it. So, you know, when you're out along the lake, the roads are nice and curvy because they follow the shore, right? So they're around, so that they're pretty good. But then when you get off from that a little ways, there's only a few that are real twisty. The rest is, you know, it's kind of got that long vista view as well. If you get up on the high points, you can see pretty good. So
that was the funniest thing, Jarvis, was Thursday night. I think it was Thursday night. We're sitting there at the hotel at the Finn Castle, and you can see this swath of the evening sky, right? And it's starting to get dark and the clouds are starting to roll in and the thunder with the lightning bolts just crossing a third of the visible sky. And we're just waiting and waiting and waiting. And there was never any noise. It was just the lightning. There was no thunder. You look on the phone and you look on the radar and it's like 50 miles away. I was like, I've never experienced that. If I see lightning, I know it's good.
Yep.
Last year when we were there, I had just come from the Ozarks, like 4 days before that. And in the Ozarks, it was god awful hot. It was scorching. But we got up there in the Virginia up high, and the weather was like totally different. It was virtually pretty cool most of the days we were there. It was very enjoyable. So
You know what?
It's a big
When we were there,
from everywhere else.
when we were there at VAMM, it didn't feel all that hot. Like,
No.
it's 5 degrees warmer here, but the humidity is just so much higher or something. It feels different. It hits different, as the kids would say.
Well, you're already up in the clouds there most of the time. Like there's roads there where you go around, like where the tunnel is when you came towards Tazewell. When you made that turn, there was that tunnel to the left that goes right through the side of the mountain, right? Well, you go through that when you go up to the next one, and you're virtually looking down at the clouds. They're all around the mountain. I thought, oh, it's foggy, and then I go, that's not fog, that's mountains. That's cloud.
Oh, it was nuts.
Like you're high, you're up there.
Travis wants to talk about the wildlife at VAMM. And
Yeah,
Jarvis
John.
can speak to this one too. So we're just going to put.
I got deer from the Ohio Windy Nine the first day of riding. There was a deer right when we first broke out. We just got out of town at Athens. There was a deer right there on the side of the road. Like I got it like hard, big, like I blew it up on the screen. It was so close.
Well, it's
Travis,
funny.
what did you get?
Well, it's not what I got. It's what you almost got.
Oh yeah, you had one go right across in front of you.
Oh, dude,
And we saw that deer out in the field. It was out in like I got shots of it way out in the middle of the field. But by the time you caught up in your group, he was right there at the road. She was.
So the story for me in the situation that we're talking about. So literally, like I can feel my wife's helmet start touching the back of my back. Like she started to doze off. And I'm watching John because obviously, John was talking about how he was such a new rider, and so I was kind of keeping an eye on John behind me. And I'm looking in the mirror, and I see this deer dart across in front of John.
Yeah.
And we got back and we started obviously talking about the deer, and I'm like, I wonder if I caught that, because John's like, none of my cameras were rolling. And I'm like, I had cameras rolling, I just don't know if they were rolling at that moment. And as soon as I got home, I started scrolling through the footage, and I found not only in the 360 camera the deer coming across the field,
pasture field, yeah.
But I got my GoPro caught a better straight on shot from behind, coming right in front of him. I mean,
It's 10 feet.
Yeah.
You'll see it. You'll see it in my video. I slowed it down and I zoomed in on it and sharpened it. You can see the distance between my front tire and that deer. It's absolutely nuts.
If they're moving and they go across, it's okay. But if they stop or try to stop, they can't. They got no brakes on the asphalt. They just slip.
Yeah. They stop and then they're just sitting there. Yeah.
If they bolt across like direct and they already got speed up when they go across, you're fine because they're just a blip, right? But if they trip or slide or get scared and stop, like I've gone by deer on the road where in the pitch dark you don't see them, and right at the last minute they're like this, and their head's hanging over the edge of the pavement when you go by them, and it's just a blip in the headlights when they're. But it, if the thing had tried to go and it had slipped and fell, I'd have nailed it for sure. Like there would have been no time.
That's when you ride by it and you go, "Oh, thank God it stayed where it did."
Yeah, but they're looking at you with that crazy eye, right? You know that look.
Side eye, right?
Yeah, they got crazy eye.
You want to talk about crazy eyes? You should have seen John when we got back to the back of the Dragon store, and he was telling me the story. My God, you think he's amped up when he does his coffee? You should have seen him when he was telling me about sliding deer.
Oh yeah, that was nuts, man.
And that was pretty close to the end of. I mean, we were on the heading back, so most of the road was almost pure straight where it happened, and I never saw the deer coming across the field, so it must have popped out sometime as I was just past it. And like I said, I only just so happened to be looking in my mirror the moment it crossed John's view.
They're quick, like it happens. Sometimes you don't even see it.
Oh yeah,
I've had them almost knock me off the bike at the bottom of my driveway.
The scariest wildlife I saw the whole time. I got invited the one night to run over to Andy and HDR's place. By the time I got there, it was pitch dark. And I'm looking along, and the GPS is telling me it's on the right-hand side. So I'm sitting in the middle of the road, and I'm looking to the right. And all of a sudden, I turn back, and Andy is standing right beside me, like this far away from me, looking at me. And I went, scared the bejesus.
Speaking of wildlife, I have video where I'm within 5-10 feet of a black bear on the roads around here.
Yeah.
That'll get you thinking.
Oh, yeah.
I'm coming down there.
You need to. The way you ride, you and Wayne would love these roads.
I mean, we've been down there and done the Tail, Moonshiner 28, and a couple other ones and stuff like that. And I ran around poker chip chasing in 20 when we were down there and just set GPS to Twisty.
Mm-hmm.
There were some nice roads down there, but I think
incredible roads down here.
We hit like 10 or 12 dealers in a day.
Roads up to 5,000 feet in elevation, Twisty Road back down, and then
what's your location?
The Rattler.
Where are you, Patrick? Where are you?
I'm just north of Asheville, North Carolina, which is right near the Tennessee border.
Oh yeah, you'd be right in it there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like 5 minutes from the Blue Ridge Parkway.
If you get down into South Carolina, everything flattens out. There's really nothing there. It's not hilly at all.
We stayed
up like Tennessee way. Yeah, that'd be a pretty good spot.
Yeah, we stayed at a place.
Go ahead.
We stayed at a place called Mama Gertie's campground down there in Asheville.
Okay, I'm not sure exactly where that one is. There's a ton of campgrounds, but if you were in Asheville, you were real close to some great roads, but you were about an hour from even better roads.
Yeah, well, we rode Blue Ridge Parkway, went up Mount Mitchell, and all that stuff. We were there for like 2 or 3 days, and then we went over to Robbinsville.
Yep. How'd you get to Robbinsville?
Down through Cherokee.
On the Parkway?
No.
Okay.
No, Jim didn't want to take the Parkway. He wanted to get there. They were pulling a camper.
I wanted to do the Blue Ridge on the way back, but I got outvoted.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take that coming back next time.
Oh, dude.
Let's go do it next week.
Yeah.
There you go.
I would do that.
What do you mean next week? Let's do it this weekend.
Blue Ridge Parkway, you got to look me up. I'm right here. I can throw a rock.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to hit you up, Patrick, because I do plan. Because the last time I went to the Blue Ridge Parkway, it was me, my stepdad, and one of my son's best friends, and we did most of the Blue Ridge, and it was the most gorgeous riding I've ever done.
It's not the most technical.
It's not.
But it's the most beautiful.
That definitely, if you just are out there to see the scenery and enjoy the ride, it is a beautiful piece of road. They keep it well maintained.
And I don't know if you saw earlier, Jack from HDR was talking about Mount Mitchell. That's the highest point east of the Mississippi. The views up there are just incredible.
Yeah.
And the Blue Ridge Parkway from Virginia down to Cherokee is 469 miles. Not a single stop sign, and no more than a half a mile without a curb. It's just an incredible road.
And there's, it goes
Sign me up for that.
Over 4,000 feet above sea level at certain points.
Well, Mount Mitchell is 6,600.
Yeah, I mean,
we did that.
Yep, and there's a sign right on the Blue Ridge Parkway where you can pull over, and the big sign says highest point on the motor road. Because Mount Mitchell, you have to go up a long road to get to the parkway, climb up. But the highest point actually on the Blue Ridge Parkway, just under 6,000 feet. You take your picture with the sign and everything. And that's just south of me.
Chimney Rock's really cool too.
It is. Now, unfortunately, the road going down to Chimney Rock right now is beat up. It is really beat up.
Through what is that, Little Switzerland?
Nope, Little Switzerland is way north. Chimney Rock is way south.
Well, we were up that way and we went through Little Switzerland, then we went down to Chimney Rock.
Okay, so if you went the Parkway or if you went 19, do you know which way you went?
I'd have to look at a map.
Okay, it's a long way. It's a big mileage difference between Chimney Rock and Little Switzerland. But I mean, again, they're both amazing places to ride. They're both up on tops of mountains. They both have nicknamed roads all over. You were probably up there. What are the Copperhead Loop or something like that? Where you were?
we were right by the Rattler.
Now the Rattler's not near Little Switzerland. The Rattler's right near where I live. You were near
on the map. On the map, it looks like it is.
No, it probably take me 45 minutes to get to Little Switzerland from here. It takes me 5 minutes to get to the Rattler.
You know, that was interesting. I saw that, I think it was Jarvis had the Butler motorcycle map, and he put one on Superman Kev's bike. Is that what you had?
Yeah.
I have them too. Those are awesome maps.
Yeah, they are good. I had the whole collection from down Eureka Springs area that went to the Harley dealer, and they had about 6 of them, and I grabbed them and I gave them to the guy that leads all of our rides. I said, "Here, you might want these for your inventory." I kept a few of them, some of them, but like, because it goes down, like you can get the ones like for Kentucky and down into Tennessee, and then the other one starts and goes down even lower. So if you got the whole series of them, you got all the rides.
Yeah. And you'll never live long enough to do them all.
No.
You can try, right? You can give it a college try to get them all done.
You could.
The old college try to do
and go knock them all off, and then move the RV another.
There's a ton of maps around here that just have all the nicknamed roads, and I mean, the map is gigantic, and it's just almost impossible to get them all.
Yeah.
Where Andy was staying, they had one of those maps under glass, like framed on the wall.
Yeah, the Freeman map.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw Jarvis's Butler map, and it seemed like every road was part of some loop that had a dangerous sounding name.
Yeah.
It always makes.
They all have dangerous sounding names, and they all have different loops that will connect to other different loops. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
I found there's a website like mybestmotorcycleroads.com or something, and it's got 5 for Maryland, 3 of which are really short and far away. But I did find one that I actually rode a couple of months ago. I have to edit the footage from it. It reminded me a lot of the Back of the Dragon, except it was like half as long and twice as straight.
That's all. That's the only difference.
Yeah, but it did have some of the blind corners with the elevation, because that was like the biggest thing was you're going up like this, and then it turns and it turns and it goes down and it's doing this. So it's like 5 miles of that instead of 32.
Jump on your bike
down here. If you can't,
I gotta go ride it like 4 times in a row.
Jump to 180-degree turns with 500 feet of elevation gain every time you go around a corner around here.
Yeah,
and then of course you got to do it downhill too.
Yeah,
it makes you a better rider.
It does. I do it as practice. I do this loop that I was just telling you about with 209, the Rattler. I do that loop. I did it today. I was telling John from Road Reality that kind of got some stuff going on. I had to get some helmet time. And like I said, I climbed up a mountain over 5,000 feet, just up twisties, just 180-degree turn after another, pressed it, 180-degree turn all the way down, then across the Rattler. And just, you got to concentrate, and it kind of clears your head a little.
Wayne, that road that we rode when we were heading towards Kentucky. Or we were in Kentucky and we were in West Virginia, Kentucky, West Virginia. It seemed to go down forever.
Mhm.
Like it just never ended. It's like we go around a corner and say, "Oh, I think we're at the bottom," and then you go around another one and it goes down farther and farther, and it's far. Like the roads down there are crazy.
Now I liked Richard's route back up to Athens.
That was nice.
Yeah, that was very scenic. Lots of rock sides.
But it seemed like there was just
like Northern Ontario actually.
What way did you guys go?
What was that?
What was it? Was it 16?
16, I think. Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
That was the way that I was telling you guys to go.
Yeah. It was crazy. It was.
Richard did the map. He figured out the route. I just said, or who's doing it, and he said, "I'll do it." And I said, "All right." So I just followed.
That was a nice road. It was a real nice road.
Yeah, because that's what we did. We run 16 all the way back up.
Yeah.
We jumped off there in Summersville and went under the New River Gorge Bridge, but then jumped back on, stopped at Cathedral Falls.
We got to Hillbilly Hot Dogs, and I got a phone call from work, and I had to leave. So I just turned back out and took off.
Yeah, because it brings you out in St. Mary's, West Virginia, which is about 45 minutes from me.
Wow.
And from there, you go down the river, and you're there.
That road.
Well, in the full booking at home by the time I went by your place.
That was a crazy road. I and like you're going along, and then you think you're like, then there's train tracks, like a whole bunch of train tracks, and all these coal cars and stuff, and it's like, holy shit, in the middle of the mountains, you know?
Yeah. I wish I'd known you guys were going that way, because I'd have went with you.
Well, it was cool. That was a really nice ride.
I was telling Dave that was the way that I was going to go home. And then he told me that you guys were going to book it up the highway to get there.
Well,
yeah. Well, at the time, that's what we thought we were doing. But then Richard came up with I was going to go to 16 as well.
Yeah.
Did you guys by chance stop at Cathedral Falls?
No.
No. They went right straight through. The first other than gas stops was Hillbilly Hot Dogs. And that's where I broke off from them. They went on up to Athens, and they met up with Craig from Moto Travels from British Columbia.
And then
Cathedral Falls is right there on 16.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you were going up, it was right there on the right. It's a little pull off just past the Chimney Corner Cafe and all that stuff.
I'll check the video. It's probably in it because I kept the cameras rolling until I got.
You know what? I was so in awe of everything when we were driving along. It was like the scenery was like awesome.
Once I left them, I put all my cameras away. I didn't have. It was threatening rain, so I just put them away and hit it.
Because you're on 16, you get there to Chimney Corner, where the little store and all that is, that goofy intersection. If you make the right on 60,
I know where you mean, because I thought we were supposed to go this way, but we went that way. Like the road goes this way.
Yeah, if you make the right on 60, it takes you up to the top of the hill there, and there's a little thing up there. I think it's like $8 or $10 to go in. They call it the mystery hole.
Yeah, I've seen a mystery hole or two before. I never went in or paid the money.
Yeah,
monetization, John. Remember,
You know, John, there's a name for that, but I won't say it on your channel.
Water runs uphill. I found a lot of glory in riding at VAMM.
There you go.
Yeah, down there in the mystery hole, water runs uphill.
That doesn't surprise me.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
Was that just kind of zinged by everybody else, John? Because I caught it.
Yeah. And you know, it's funny. Somebody said I was a new rider. I think it was Travis. He's not on screen now to defend himself. I've been riding for 13 years. We don't have roads like that near me, and I ride like the same 10 roads all the time. So it was a whole different world.
Yeah. Well, now hopefully you got the bug. You'll go a little farther next time.
Oh, I'm so mad at you, Jarvis, because you said the same thing to me, and I was like, yeah, no way. I'm hating life. And then, now I'm like trying to plan another ride. I'm like, well, there's a Pennsylvania Grand Canyon I need to find my way up to.
Dude, you need to come up here, like in the fall. We'll take you up around up north.
Before the snow.
Yeah, get the leaves turning up here. It's a pretty good show. Lots of maple trees.
That area that we went last year, Wayne, that would be a great place to take them, eh?
Well, but it's even. I went up a week later with Linda on the back, and we went even farther east. We went over into Quebec and come down. It was even better. So
Is that right?
Yeah.
Dewey's right. That's
Hey.
me. I've got
With the
1 year
appearance.
experience 13 times.
The Pennsylvania Grand Canyon, you won't get to do that. We'll get to do that.
I'm thinking about it. It's only 5 hours north of me. I know I can
Yeah.
do 6 hours easy on the bike.
It's not that far.
In Pennsylvania, if it's 5 hours north of you, it's probably only 4 or 5 hours from me.
It's like straight north. I googled it the other day, and it's basically 5.5 hours just straight north, all the way up towards the top of Pennsylvania.
Where are you, Phoenix? You're
Southeastern Massachusetts.
Where
So
about?
whatever he tells you in
Like from Boston. Where are you?
45 minutes south of Boston.
South of Boston.
South
Oh,
of
okay.
Boston, yeah.
if he tells you that it's only a few hours away, I've seen how fast he rides. That doesn't count.
Yeah. So that's BPE
Talking
time.
about me? You talking about me?
I think he's
I
talking
think
about
BPE needs to do a cannonball run.
I'm looking at his speedo and I'm seeing like 96, 87.
Whoa. Hey, monetization. We're not looking at anybody's speedo.
So I go to Plainsfield, New Hampshire, which is about an hour away from Laconia.
So that's only like maybe 2.5, 3 hours from me.
Yeah. So I've gone there with Linda on the back. We do it in 1 day. It's like 800 miles.
That's a long way.
So it's five gas stops, and basically the fifth one is just to fill up, so we're full for the road trip back. It's like 4 or 5 full tanks.
Boy, that's a lot of riding.
Yeah, me and a group of like Biz and Brews, Minamoto, we went up to Laconia and did it in a day. So.
Yeah. Well, I've been from there. I went from Plainfield down to what is it? Lowminster?
Leominster, yeah.
Yeah, the plastic capital of the world or whatever it's called. Yeah,
but
I've been there, and it was about 2 hours from my friend's place to there. That was a beautiful ride too. It was all tree covered. There was deer licking water out of the puddles on the road when I come around the corner. It was like, oh, look who's there.
In Wayne's defense, the only reason it was slow for us to get there is me.
Yeah.
You know?
My anchor.
I'm the anchor.
No, I'm the anchor.
I'll just say there's a funny story about that. On the way down to Tazewell, John was the anchor. On the way back, there was this miscommunication where I said, you and Minamoto, you and Jerry know where you're going in Maryland. You're taking this exit. I just left him. I just did my normal cruising. He catches up to me. He's like, what are you doing?
The craziest thing, we were coming back and we were, I can't remember exactly where we were, but it was 16 lanes wide, Toledo. And there was 16 lanes wide, and there were ramps on both sides, and there was so much traffic. I'm telling you, I said to the guys, man, you got to stop. I can't do this anymore. It was like too much, you know. It was insane. I can't. I've never seen roads like that. We don't have roads like that here.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, we have weird left side exits every now and then.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of those.
No, we got them up. I got some in New Bedford. 7 exits. One of them is a left exit.
We've got them. I mean, we've got the 401 highway along. It goes like right across through Toronto and heads like east to west, and it's the one section right around where the 400 highway breaks off, which goes north. That's actually the busiest piece of highway in North America, I believe, or the world. It's like a lot of cars, way more than like LA freeway and stuff like that. There's a shit ton of cars on that highway. Do everything you can to avoid the 401 near Toronto.
I have a question.
Duly noted.
I have a question for you guys. like we were taking all these interstates down, and they have the toll things with the readers. Like, I haven't gotten any bill. Did you get anything, Wayne?
No, I don't get them here either.
I haven't gotten one yet, so it takes a little bit for them.
If you've got a limited, the license plate is tucked right up under the tour pack. It's above the tail light. Guys that have their license plate, like the guys that buy like a Road Glide special, the license plate is down below the tail light and they're visible to the cameras, but mine isn't.
I don't think mine is either.
Back in the day, a few years back, before COVID, you were able to go through like New York State. You'd have to stop at the booth and pay cash or card to get to where you were going. Like every stop, you'd have to stop. And every time you got off, you'd have to pay up. And then when you got back on, you got a ticket. And when you got to the other end, you gave it back. Now they've gone the same way as our toll highways up here. It's all done digital. So my bike's not visible. My license is visible. I can ride all day for free. And they know it. They know it. They do nothing about it.
I got to get
still
that
getting tolls from Canada from
relocation.
6 weeks ago.
What was that?
I'm still getting tolls in the mail from Canada from 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
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 The only time I
so
got was once with the trailer and the Goldwing, and I couldn't figure out because I had everything on auto pay, and I was like, then all of a sudden I got this thing, and they were saying like, we're not going to renew your license unless you give us the money for this. And I called them up and I said, what the hell are you talking about? They gave me this strange license number. Here it was the trailer behind my Goldwing. I said to the guy, once he finally told me what it was, I said, can you see the picture? He goes, yep. I said, can you see the license plate of the bike? He goes, yep. I said, well, why didn't you bill that? So, but that was right before I bought the Harley, and I haven't got a bill since.
I'm gonna have to get the relocation kit for the license plate.
Shove it way up underneath the tour pack.
Oh yeah, I bet you I could use zip ties and just hang it from the tour pack mount.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is I have the Easy Pass transponder in my truck, and my wife's got one in her car, and I put all our motorcycles on the account, so they're supposed to just get auto billed. And starting about 6 months ago, I started getting nasty grams from the Easy Pass program. They're like, your transponder's not working. To avoid increased tolls, put a transponder on your bike or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, go pound sand. I grabbed my roll of gaffer's tape and I stuck it in like 5 different places and it couldn't read it. And I was like, yep, just going to ignore those emails.
Just use Velcro. Why gaffer's tape?
Because I didn't want to put Velcro in there. It's permanent. And the gaffer's tape comes off easy.
Oh, get that 3M stuff and
yeah. I wanted to see if it was in the right place first, and then if it was in the right place and the damn toll could read it, then it was okay. But the toll never read it.
Gotcha.
I have no idea where the nearest toll is to me.
A little rubber condom. So,
Motor Ramblings doesn't have tolls. Goodbye. Travis has tolls.
Yeah, he's got tolls.
Do you have tolls, Travis?
I have a wife.
We don't need that kind of nonsense. Rody, you're not married, are you?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, bye. Check Nick. We know he's married. Goodbye. We know everybody else is married.
Yeah. Your stream's over. We're all married. Sorry.
Oh man.
Shut it down. It's done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I had to beg the Minister of Child Care to do the child care tonight. So you guys owe Mrs. Road Reality a big thanks for letting me do this.
I'll be right over.
The one question I had one question for Black Phoenix too is what the hell did you do with all those panties?
Apparently, it's something I didn't catch on doing this trip.
Yeah, maybe that'll be a different video someday. I don't know.
I think he sniffed them to stay awake.
Brian, more than 80 minutes? You have more footage?
Well, didn't you catch it? He's packing his bike. Everywhere he looked, he was putting in a pair of frilly panties in his.
See that was the thing. I snuck in a few things throughout the video that I guess only a few people caught.
Oh my god.
Oh, I saw it. I was like, that's hilarious. Does his wife know that he raided her
I
door?
thought they were
I
Or
was
is that his
laughing my
door?
ass off. I'm watching this thing. It's like he did it again. He had at least 3 pairs. At least 3 pairs.
I thought they were roadie's panties.
Oh, we can't have him not defend himself. Let's see.
Where is he?
Whoa.
Were they you?
No,
Were
no,
they
no, no,
yours?
no, no. Not at all.
Yeah, you know what?
I actually,
that face says he wore them first.
yeah, I was asking him. I said, "Did you bring those down there?" And were they for the guys that were like hanging out at the Finn Castle?
That's
I
pro
don't know.
stuff.
Yep.
Bros before hoes, man.
I gotta get some more Black Phoenix merch and actually have Black Phoenix like underwear, like thongs or something. Bring them next year.
Sandy, it's
what'd you
the
call them?
beginning
Black
Hey.
penis underwears?
Hey, you're gonna get me. Yeah, this is gonna get us demonetized. Sandy, that's the beginning of Ryan's video.
You gotta watch the prologue. Yep.
Oh my god.
Don't do that again, Rhodey.
I won't.
Don't
You know, I
You know, it was probably not safe, Rhodey, for you to be drinking on his stream. You'll end up spitting it out everywhere.
yeah. Oh, I know. I gotta say, I had a tremendous time hanging out with everybody down there. For my first
Especially
time going there and not knowing what to expect, and I didn't really know all you guys. Like I just, I've seen your, on YouTube and Instagram, but to get to meet everybody in person is a way different experience than what you see on these videos. So, especially for how do I go? That guy up there. That was quite the experience. Up there.
I'll make that easier for you. You don't have
Yeah.
to point at angles. It really was a total trip to meet all these people in person. And I was watching Ryan's video last night. I was like, wait, they can hear me singing the song, the Rocky Balboa entrance theme.
Yep. I ended up catching
I was like, you can hear it. And I walked in and I was talking to Technic Rides and his wife inside the McDonald's. And I was like, and I didn't get this on camera, but I was like, it's the whole alcohol versus inappropriate jokes thing. So I turned to Technic Rides and I said, I can only promise you one thing on this weekend. I will not go after your wife. I cannot, however, promise that she won't go after me.
I remember that.
I think I heard that at least twice that weekend.
All I know is Nick and Ashley, they just couldn't get the smiles off their face the whole time we were there. They were laughing 24/7 at us.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God,
It's freaking great.
Our wives were being good sports. I will
Yeah,
admit that.
They put
Yeah,
up
a
a
lot
lot
of
of shenanigans.
Yeah.
I think next year we need to take up the entire first and second floors of the Finn Castle on that one side and just have the whole group right there.
Mm-hmm.
We just need to have everybody in one spot, except Travis. Bye. Maybe we can get Patrick to join us next year, like on day one instead of day two.
I stayed at the
Family
Finn
stuff.
Castle. I hung out with you.
For 5 seconds. You were there. You showed up like Saturday morning. I was already dead to the world Saturday morning.
Hey, I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning so I could be up there for that Saturday ride.
So did I. I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Dude,
Yeah,
okay,
I think these guys get up kind of early. So
I am not a morning person. I set 3 alarms on this thing. The first one was at 5:30 in the morning. And at 1:30, I'm staring at the computer like, I got to go to bed. Okay, so I go to bed. 5:30. This thing didn't ring for more than 2 seconds before I was like, turn off. It's time to get up and ride.
How
And
many, how many of you rode 170 miles just to get to the breakfast for Saturday's ride?
I rode 400 miles to get there.
Yeah, you didn't get there for breakfast on one of the days of riding.
I don't like your attitude.
Oh, man.
How many miles did we ride, Ryan? The first day?
Oh,
240
well,
something.
no, the first day to Maryland was like almost 500. I was like 480.
480, yeah.
Yeah.
480 first day. And we killed it. We crushed
We
it.
killed that. Yeah.
That was
I got my whole timing and like miles wrong in my video. I think I said like 3 different times, like 3 different like things.
No, it was 5 hours and 42 minutes from Boston to Hagerstown.
No, that was to Allentown.
Allentown.
We didn't get to Hagerstown till 1:45. So it was
But
4:30,
still, leaving,
which is still
leaving
crazy.
Providence, Rhode Island at like 4:30ish, 4:45 to get there at that time.
Providence.
Huh?
Providence. Pronounce
Providence.
it right.
Providence.
Providence. Forget
Yeah.
about it.
And Jarvis was talking about Leominster. He was talking about Leominster, Massachusetts. Yeah, the plastic capital of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's better than Savannah, the paper mill of the world.
How was that?
So I want to skip ahead a little bit to when we went to the Pocahontas coal mine expedition. For me personally, that was quite a tour. I was really impressed with that.
That was a what?
A tour.
Speak English. This is America.
You're not the one who's speaking English.
I'm the
He's
only
the only one
one.
that is speaking
I'm
English.
from New England, man. This is where it all started. If it wasn't for us, you wouldn't be here.
Yeah, all because you guys had a tea party.
That's
Yeah,
right.
A tea party.
Twisted tea. So no, but all kidding aside, that whole day was pretty cool. We were what 700 and something feet down underneath that mountain.
It was an 825-foot long tour, and it was down a little bit, but I think just the mountain went up. So we didn't actually go down that far.
The height of the mountain above the hole.
It was 700 feet above you.
Climbed into the side of the hill. Yeah.
That was incredible.
That was just like work for me because I worked about 10 years in our gypsum mine where I worked most of my career.
Making drywall.
Making drywall, pulling rock out of the ground. So I was maintenance underground for probably about 10 years of that 37 I worked there.
There's definitely not enough money in the world for me to be a coal miner. I would never do that job.
No.
You look around, it's just rock all around you.
And
that's my new threat to the kids. When they misbehave, I tell them, "Hey, you're going to go work in the freaking coal mine tomorrow."
Yeah.
It's just the history of that and how they treated the employees and the money, how they did with, how they paid them and how everything was, they brought these people in from, all over other countries, Italy, Scandinavia, wherever. And they came into Ellis Island and they basically lied to these people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Definitely a learning.
It was basically legal slavery.
Basically, yeah.
I have to pause here a second and teach Patrick something about live streams. When you're on screen with the person that asked the question, you can answer them right here. You can ask them the questions and answer the questions. You don't have to type in the side chat, dum-dum.
Under most live streams, that works really well. With you, I never know when I'm on and when I'm not.
I don't know.
I knew that was funny.
And you're not.
There he is. But,
I just got dizzy. Oh, good.
Yeah, as soon as I typed it, I thought of that, and I'm like, I didn't even know I was even on anymore.
Hey, real quick, back to the coal mine thing. I put it in the comments there.
Mine was very cool. I really
Beckley-
enjoyed learning all that stuff. I didn't know half that stuff.
Beckley, West Virginia has a really cool one too. They actually take you in on the rail car and all that stuff.
John left and got real quiet.
And it's got the houses and church and schools and all that stuff.
Hello?
Like the town, so to speak, is still there. So that's a really cool one. It's even still got the company store. That's where you go in and pay for your ticket and all that stuff. So that's a really neat one.
the
And they've got
funniest
some
thing,
down in Kentucky too.
the funniest thing that lady said to us is you can't record anything, and we all looked at each other like we were about ready to die.
Do you know who you're talking to?
Somebody didn't pay no attention to that as they had their cell phone sitting on their lap, sitting there just letting it roll.
I heard some GoPros going too, so I don't know who was doing that.
I did.
I heard him going beep beep beep. Yep. in mine. I'm like, oh my god.
I should have just took my 360 and mounted it to the golf cart and let it roll.
Let's go.
Yeah. And then who was it that had to blow up the tire?
I did.
Oh, how was your lips after that?
I used the pump on the bike.
Oh, I thought it was okay.
It wasn't that kind of party.
John, can you kick him out?
Which one? All of them?
Rudy rides. He's being inappropriate.
Hey, listen, John's been rubbing off on me. I'm telling you right now.
Whoa, that's it.
Thank you.
I didn't rub off on anybody. Okay, that's no.
What's going on here?
Hey, Jack, thanks for joining us, man.
Nice plug, Jack.
Coming by.
Hey, it's okay. Look, use this platform to push all your stuff. I don't care. And look, if I was telling somebody earlier, I forget who it was. I was like, look, if I can bring on people and they get subscribers from being on my live stream, I'm all the better for it. That makes me happy. That's all I'm asking for. You know, I don't give people money, and so yeah, a little bit of my time is worth it. Except Black Phoenix Entertainment, he's demonetized.
Damn.
If Jack's
Yeah.
here, I will
it's
be
a rough
in touch
crowd.
with HDR to coordinate some sort of meetup in the area because Jack seems to want to help make this happen. So I'm going to leave it all up to him.
Well, Jack,
In
you
what
know,
area?
he lives up near Pittsburgh.
You can talk like he's going to do. Volin told him no.
In your area or our area, Patrick?
He said my area. He said I need to organize a meetup, and I said I'll only do it with his help.
That's easy. Have everybody stay at Iron Horse, and there you go.
That was Roger and I's plan, was to have everybody stay at Iron Horse because they have everything from primitive tent camping, bunkhouses, small cabins, large cabins, a giant bed and breakfast type place up the top of the hill.
That's my style.
Located to everything.
Covered wagons?
Covered wagons. If you want to spend a couple of bucks, yeah.
They're not that bad. I think they're $119 a night.
Yeah, I sleep in a tent for $10 a night, so that sounds like a lot.
I'm staying at Patrick's house, and Sandy did buy me coffee. She found my buy me a coffee link and sent me coffee. So thank you so much, Sandy.
But yeah, that'd be the way to do a meetup down there because you get breakfast and dinner right there at Iron Horse.
Yep.
And they run a tab. When you go to check out, here's what your bill is.
Yep. And they have the live entertainment on the weekends.
Yeah.
It would be fantastic.
Check out
Fire
anytime
at
you
night.
want, but you can never leave.
I done life. I have no idea how to do that.
Minnow.
Drop a link to the place.
Yeah.
Okay.
You do it, RGA.
I'll do it.
It is an awesome place. It has gone up in price recently, but it is such a great place, and it's so centrally located to all those incredible roads.
Andy, did you say Hooker Bill?
Oh my gosh, what is wrong with Minamoto's microphone?
Adventurous rider, I don't know. Didn't even know I was doing it, adventurous rider.
Well, now you know. You're doing a
Jack-
meetup down to your place.
Yeah, Jack told me that I'm doing this. I'm like,
Yeah, because he came back. He said, "Yeah, ha ha ha."
There you go.
I saw that.
The link is in the side chat.
There you go. Yep. I've stayed there many times, always camping. Although I did stay in one of the semi-private cabins one time with my son, and it was really nice. You know, it's a pretty cool place.
Andy, I don't see
Down
a
there.
link in the side chat.
Hey, Riding the Thin Lines is in here.
I just put a link in the side chat, or it's there.
I don't see it.
I don't see it
I
either.
don't see it either.
I might have to make you a moderator or something.
It's popping up on mine.
Yeah, I don't see it. Travis doesn't see it. Must not have happened.
Well, make
I
me a
want you to know I
moderator.
didn't work on anything to make this happen. HDR made me work on making this happen. Had nothing to do with me.
I got to
Hey,
figure out how to make people moderators.
Just pick pick dates that you want to do it. I wouldn't suggest doing it in June because that's your wet season down there. We were down there in 20 in June, and it rained the entire 10 days we were there.
Yeah, it's the wet season in June of 2020.
Hello.
It changes every year.
There's Minnow.
Okay.
We can hear him now.
Who's Hooker Bill, Andy?
Hooker Bill?
You said something about breakfast, free breakfast, and then something about Hooker Bill.
No, they put it all on a tab, and then you pay your bill when you're done, when you check out.
Not Hooker Bill. Your bill.
Pay your bill. I mean, like, are you that lonely out on the road that you're thinking about street corner ladies?
I was just trying to figure out what you were
Lot
talking
lizards. You got to call them lot lizards.
Oh my God.
Travis, September would be great. The only problem I have with like September is because it does get pretty cool at night, and if the leaves are falling already on these twisty roads, wet leaves, no fun.
Right.
It's never cooling off again.
And for that reason, I'm out.
That and people take their time off of work to do stuff like this through the summertime more. So there.
Yeah,
all right.
Maurice, it was the dry season everywhere this year.
I don't know. It was wet at VAMM.
There. See if it's in there now.
Damn.
Yep, there it is.
All right.
I had to make you a moderator so you could post links.
There
All right.
it
I'm
is.
learning this stuff. I don't know anything about this technology crap.
I won't post anything inappropriate like Roadie Rides would do or Minomoto or somebody like that. You know, they'd be putting links to different types of sites in there probably.
Care to defend yourself, Rhodey?
I wouldn't do any such thing. Nope.
Okay.
Andy,
Yep,
Andy,
that's
what do you
it. That's
keep
all we
on
needed.
saying?
Oh man, I just like to have fun, you know.
So how about another place that we visited? And we'll go over is the Big Walker.
Yeah, Sandy was
Look
talking
out.
about that. Big Walker Overlook.
Overlook.
Yep.
That was amazing. That was
So,
amazing.
Did any of you
Should
guys?
climb the tower.
Yeah, I was going to ask that.
I don't do that.
I was going
talking-
to, but
I
it
was
was too
talking
damn
to
hot.
somebody, and I said I can either climb the tower or ride back, but I can't do both because my
That
knees
was
are
me.
shot.
That was me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were messed up afterwards.
No, that was me that you were talking to. I was up on
Oh.
top and you said, send me that footage. I said, bring your ass up here and get it yourself.
Well,
Yeah,
what I
You
will
said,
say,
I can do that or continue riding.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
my knees are too shot for that stuff.
Yeah.
It wasn't that bad.
Walker
If
up
It's
on
I
top.
can do it, you could have done it.
So here's the thing. I have a handicap plate on the back of my Harley for a very specific reason. My femurs right here, and the kneecap sits here. This whole corner of each femur is all worn off. There's no cartilage. There's no bone. So every step after the 10th one is pretty painful.
Okay, I broke my back, both my feet, fractured my pelvis all at the same time. I have no cushion tissue on my right foot. When I step, it is the heel bone, which is your calcaneus, to my skin, to whatever I'm making contact with. I have about 8 screws holding my left foot together, 2 15-inch titanium rods in my back with 8 screws. And recently, I got 2 screws added to each elbow. So if I can do it, you can do it. That's the way I look at stuff.
Well, what I'm going to say
We'll
about
agree to
Walker,
disagree.
Walker
Huh?
Outlook had great ice cream.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
we had banana milkshakes.
Oh,
So
man.
what is it with the Canadians and the ice cream? I got to know.
What do you
Dude,
mean?
that's not just a Canadian thing. That's everything. You
everywhere.
ride motorcycles and you eat ice cream.
Ice cream. Don't you read the sign?
I'm lactose intolerant, jackass.
Well,
Somebody kick
you know
him
what I
out.
call that? That's your problem.
John, kick yourself
Kick
out
yourself
for
out,
being
yeah.
lactose intolerant.
Tolerant.
Welcome to my show, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome to Jarvis Biker. Hey,
Oh,
Aging
my-
motorcycles and their ailments. Sponsored by
Yeah.
Road Fighting.
But
No, I
Bruce.
I wanted to climb that tower, but man, it was just way too hot for me to do that.
it wasn't that hot. And when you got up there,
Yeah,
as you
I
were
just
going
was-
up,
Should have been a nice
Yeah.
breeze when you got to the top.
yeah, as you were going up, it
Really?
got cooler. Because
Really?
Sandy from North by Southeast, she came up and we were talking, and I was like, who else is coming up? Because it sounded like somebody else was coming up. She was like, I think it's just us. She said, we know North by Southeast ain't coming up.
Yeah,
and
we
I told
were
her,
getting suckered into going up there.
I was dead serious. I was going to throw him on my back and carry him up.
Yeah, that must have been an incredible view up there.
I have a video on it. I edited the video. I have a video. It'll probably be out next week.
I heard you two talking about that. Andy, you were like, I'll just carry him up there, all right? Let's get him the view.
Yeah, I'm not lying. I would have carried that man up there and carried him down.
Dude, was it not awesome to meet them in person, though?
It was. Those are two of the nicest people you will ever meet.
So at Sonic, I saw this woman sitting by herself. She wasn't talking to anybody, and I was like, is she part of our group? What's going on? And I walked over and said, hi, I'm John, Road Reality, and you are? And she's like, oh, I'm North by Southeast's wife. He's over there in the wheelchair. I was like, I got to go shake this man's hand because he's been a long-time supporter of the channel. And so that was my first introduction to him, and I was like, these people are awesome because they've been commenting and watching my videos. It's the imposter syndrome sticking its ugly head up again. I was like, oh, I got to say hi and say thank you for these people. And then at the Overlook, Sandy bought my sticker because I left my wallet in the tour pack because it was raining. I was like, I don't want to get my wallet wet,
Yeah, because she got me with the rattlesnake eggs.
Yeah, she did. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
What's a rattlesnake egg?
Oh, yeah, tell them about
Next
that.
time I see you, I'll give you some.
Oh,
jeez.
That was awesome.
What is it?
That was a good
It's
day.
just rattlesnake eggs.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
when
then
I
you
come
get-
up in September, I'll bring them with me.
With some squirrel gravy.
Squirrel gravy?
Squirrel gravy?
Squirrel season won't be in yet. That don't come in until October.
Yeah, the
That
month
one
has
there
to
in
end in
June.
R.
Oh my God.
Bill.
What have I gotten into here?
I don't know. We can get you out, though, if you want.
I know. I seen how that works.
And he's gone.
Yeah.
Yep.
We can bring Technic back in.
Yeah, he hasn't been in here for a while.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
tell us your opinion on going down there and what you experienced, because you've been awful quiet.
I had a lot of fun. It was a lot different going down there with a group of everybody this time versus going by myself the last time. The last time I went, the first time, it was me and Ashley, and she pretty much followed me down there. But having you guys ride down there in a group, it made it a lot more fun. And I really liked the 460 route that we took to get us off the interstate. And all that was a lot of fun. And maybe next year I'd like to try maybe even a different route next time as well to go down.
A little less highway.
Yeah, less highway. And I think me and Ryan, we talked about maybe taking a couple extra days, to make it like a week basically to ride, because there's a lot of other roads down there, that you can ride while you're down there.
My thought process was going to maybe Gettysburg before we go there with you guys and meeting you. Maybe getting Gettysburg inclusive before that ride, because it's like right back to back. If they do it that way, I don't know how Mr. G is going to do it next year.
Yeah,
that would be ideal if it was back to back. We could all meet at maybe Gettysburg for a day or something and kind of stop weaving our way down that way. And that would be a lot of fun.
That'd be fun.
Have you been to Gettysburg?
Never.
I have.
We went by
I
it.
read that far.
We rode by
We
it.
went by it like at about 90 miles an hour.
There's around the town itself, there's not really a whole lot of riding, but you can go. They have things you can go ride around the battlefield and stuff like that, and that's pretty.
Yeah.
The different battlefields, that's pretty neat.
We have a battlefield
That's why I'd
around
like to
here.
spend a day or two there and then kind of mosey our way down. That would be great. That'd be a lot of fun.
Watch
Yeah.
out for copperheads on the road up there in Gettysburg.
I had a bigger problem with tar snakes.
Tar snakes.
Those
A
suckers
lot
get
of
you.
those in
dude.
Ohio.
Ooh, got a couple
John,
of those.
come up and ride
Hey.
triple nickel with me,
Yeah,
buddy.
there's a lot of those in Ohio.
freaking tossed.
Andy, I was in Eureka Springs. I ran over a black snake about 6 feet long. He made 2 snakes after I rode over him.
I guarantee it.
Are they poisonous?
Not black snakes, no.
Oh, okay.
No,
didn't know.
honestly, black snakes, if I see a black snake on my property, I don't kill it.
Yeah.
They keep
I
those
mean,
things away.
if I see a black snake laying on the road out here in front of my house, I'll stop and get out and get him off the road because I don't want him to get run over.
We don't have a lot. Like, we've got milk snakes and garter snakes here where we are in southern Ontario. Up north, they've got Muskoka rattlers, so rattlesnakes up there. But
yeah, rattlesnakes, copperheads, which we don't really have. We don't really have rattlesnakes around here.
Family, so
copperheads, water moccasins.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
Shit.
I caught a water moccasin on a fishing pole one time.
Nice.
That was not fun.
You just give them the fishing rod?
No, I shook it. I shook it like this. I was like 10 years old, and I just shook the rod like this until the thing flopped off, swam away. Thank goodness. Hey, look, Ashley's here. She's still got the hots for somebody in our group, Technic Rides. I'm not saying who it was, but he's not in stream anymore.
Oh, what a setup.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
This is true. This is true. You know, okay, so from the trip, oh my gosh, who's trying to join now? I got more people. There's so many good pictures I took, right? And the top 2 so far is one of the usual suspects. Oh, who dropped off?
I love that one. That was cool.
That's a good one.
Really cool.
That one was cool. And I've got a great picture of Doyle I need to post on Instagram. Because it's just like the way my Sony took the picture. I have this, since I bought the Sony, I have this newfound love of photography. And the way it took the picture, it captures Doyle's essence. I'll have to post on Instagram later tonight.
Oh, man.
You know, it's interesting. I actually sent Doyle my video because apparently he wasn't filming when he almost died. And I'm the only one that got any video of that.
Yeah.
So. And he keeps telling me that it wasn't close. I'm like, dude, I was
That
right
was close.
There. Like, there's no way
close.
that was not close at all.
That was not good.
Yeah.
It was like this far.
Yeah. But he's Doyle, and I mean, he handles that thing like nothing. Like, it weighs nothing at all. You know,
Oh
he
yeah,
just whips it
dude.
around.
I watched one of Doyle's videos last night. He's riding in the rain and scraping pegs at the same time.
Right. Yeah, he's crazy. He's good. He's very good with it, but he gets a little crazy.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to
so,
Doyle? Oh,
Travis,
it's
Doyle went on when we went to the High Side Tavern. Doyle was making the right, and he went past Black Phoenix Entertainment, and he thought it was 2 lanes entering the next road, but it was an on-ramp and an off-ramp at the same time. So he was in the left lane. There was a truck coming the other way.
Yep. So I think it's day 4. If you go into it, that's when we were riding there. So.
Wow. Yeah. You know, it was funny to see. Like, I'd always heard about Doyle and his wife, but until I met his wife in person, like, oh my god.
Yeah, she's a pistol.
She's a pistol.
Yeah, she is. She's
But she's
spark plug. Oof.
She's a spark plug.
She's a 4-foot pistol.
No, she's 4'4.5", and I asked her,
that
"Does
is
that
great.
inch make a difference?" And she said, "Yes."
And she gave John hell. I was there.
Oh, it was hilarious.
Oh yeah, it was great.
Oh, it was funny. First thing in the morning at Hardy's. Hey, that was it. She gave it right back to you.
Oh yeah, Minnow. By the way, let's see. Sorry, Technic. We're gonna say goodbye to you for a second. Minnow was in my footage when I saw Doyle's wife, and I was like, "Is she around?" No, that midget pops up everywhere.
Yep, I got that too.
Oh,
great. Oh yeah. It was so funny. She was, and I saw her bike. They pulled up to her and Doyle pulled up to the hotel one night, and it's lit up like a freaking Christmas tree, right? And she's got 1-foot risers on her floorboards, so she has a place to put her feet. Otherwise, they dangle.
She
it was
was
nice.
nice.
You know,
She was
he
nice
raised
enough.
He
to take
raised
a
the brake
picture of
on
my-
it too. He's got a rig extender that goes up through that other floorboard.
Yeah, he welded a plate and a thing to extend the brake. Yeah, I saw that.
She was nice enough to hold my rooster.
Thank you for clearing that up, Rhodey.
Yeah, Rhodey. There was a lot of women holding your rooster.
I noticed included. That. Yep. Well,
mine on more than one occasion, unfortunately.
Yeah, she was. Well, yeah, he was. No, he was on the back of her bike too, or your bike.
My bike, yeah.
Oh man, what a wild ride that was!
Oh, that was a lot of fun, man. Oh God.
Yeah, I don't think it was funny because a number of people came up to me throughout the weekend and were like, "You're just like in your videos." I'm like, "What did you expect?"
What do you think?
I was like, "You're getting the 3 cents road reality video. You got the sights, the sounds, and when I had a cigar going, the smell to go with it." You know, people are like, "Really? How do you do that?" And I'm like, "I don't know."
You did not have a cigar going. We'd walk by your bike, and there was always one burning on the foot rest.
Yeah, I have the Kahuna Collection floorboards, and it's got a little slot in it, and my cigar fits right there and holds it for me to relight later.
Yes, Ashley, she was good.
Kept the black flies away from all the bikes. Anyway.
Oh yeah, it works great. I go to my mom's house, and she's got all the gnats and mosquitoes and stuff, and she's like, "Would you light a cigar already? Get the bugs out of here." I'm like, "Mom, my kids are 5 feet away playing." She goes, "I light the cigar; they'll be fine."
Rhodey, my wife says your cock was very happy. In her position.
What?
Oh, it was.
She was up here listening.
The only thing Rhodey needs is a "try me" or a "touch me" sticker on it.
Yeah, maybe that's a good idea.
Just get a little patch made and just and have it glued on.
Try my cock.
Sandy needs a repeat of Randy's rooster.
I hope she was gentle with it.
Well, I know Ashley wasn't. She was like this.
She was slapping it.
Oh yeah, beating that rooster for all it was worth.
For anybody that's watching this is exactly the conversation that was going on when we were at the restaurant. It was worse. This was way tamer, but this was the kind of conversation that was going on.
And it just rolled. It never stopped.
It never stopped.
At the restaurant, it was like I couldn't even eat my food. That's how I couldn't even put it in my. I couldn't eat it because I was laughing so hard. It just unbelievable.
Oh yeah, it was great.
I felt like I was at a comedy club, stand-up comedy club.
There was a good reason they put us in the corner, in the back corner, because
away from all the families.
Yeah, we were not family friendly.
No, it wasn't. No, it was definitely not rated G.
But it was a damn good time.
Absolutely,
it was a lot of fun hanging out with you guys, and I can't wait till we get to do it again.
Yeah. Yes. Definitely. This time, it'd be like you said, John. Everybody in the same hotel or whatever.
Try to get everybody together.
We did have fun, because being at where we were, we had a picnic table, and we'd go after, when the night, was settling down, we'd all sit at the picnic table, and Travis can contest to this. That he didn't stop laughing when we were there either. I just kept going. It was nonstop.
I want to interrupt for just a second here. You've got this live stream going on, and Minamoto was on there with his long white beard. Other than me and my white beard, none of you have that. But everybody at VAMM seemed to have these big, long white beards. The only ones that didn't are on this live stream.
Except this guy over down here.
We've got 3 white beards right there in the bottom row.
I got gray hair up here.
But didn't it seem like at VAMM that everybody had them?
Yes. Everybody had beards.
It did seem that way.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
It was definitely the white beard crowd.
Oh yeah.
Mr. James was actually pretty trimmed.
Yeah, he had that pretty tamed. Yeah. So did any of you guys do the bull ride?
No. I skipped that night. I hung out at the hotel and watched the thunderstorms.
Ken had a great video of somebody doing the bull ride.
Yeah.
I found that place was so loud. The restaurant was really loud.
It sure was.
Yeah, that was part of my problem. It was too loud, even with the earplugs in. Kevin and I were talking about this the other night. It was like, it was just too loud, even with the earplugs in. It was one of those things, like if you have tinnitus or you have any kind of sensitivity to noise, it was too much, and it just kept building. I kept going outside. Kevin will tell you, I was like in and out, in and out, in and out.
I was too. I couldn't do it. I couldn't stay in there. I can't deal with a lot of noise.
Well, there wasn't enough stuff on the walls, and then you had hardwood floors.
Right.
There was not that the sound was bad. It just, if you're sensitive to that, and a bunch of us are, I happen to be very sensitive to that. It can be very daunting.
It was the reverb in there.
Yeah,
that's what it was. The reverb was like
reverb.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the band, they would have been twice as good if they were half as loud.
Yeah,
Correct.
The band was actually really
Pretty
good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they were a good band, but I would have
you're right.
enjoyed it a lot more if it was a little quieter.
Yeah, they were just too loud for the crowd. Like we were all kind of wanting to chat more.
Yeah, that's what I found. Like you're yelling.
They need to put acoustics in there, like probably behind the stage or something, just to absorb some of that sound.
Yeah.
Because
that was why I liked hanging out at the Finn Castle after everything died down, every night, because we had the covered area. So when it rained, we were dry, but we'd all bring our chairs out and everybody would sit around in kind of a oval and chit chat for a couple hours before everybody passed out.
Don't you think at a meetup that maybe they shouldn't have entertainment like that? Because at a
but I
meetup,
think
you
Mr.
want to
G wanted to
socialize, you
support-
want to get together.
I know, and I think Mr. G wanted to support that new business, and I don't know that he knew that they were going to have the live entertainment that night.
Right.
And the live entertainment would have been great if they would have been just a little quieter. That's my only complaint about VAMM. If everything else was awesome, and the food was great, and the venue was great, it was just awesome. So loud. I couldn't deal with that.
I'm editing a little bit of my only one VAMM video, and Kevin, you're narrating my entrance into the shed.
Yeah, I'm glad you put me on, John. One of the suggestions I was going to make to Mr. G is if we're going to do something like that, do it after everybody eats and talks and everything, and then have the music and some stuff going on. Because then the people who want to stay can stay, and then after everybody eats, they can kind of do their own thing after that. But trying to do like everything all at once, like you said, it just doesn't work.
Yeah,
and you know what? Like Mr. G did so many things right. Like he did so many things right.
Oh, he did.
Like, I almost feel guilty saying anything bad about it because the whole event was amazing. Yep. And I mean, and he tried to do so many things.
Yeah.
And you're not wrong, Kev. And it's constructive criticism. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, this is a way to improve on something that was already a life experience that we'll never forget.
Yeah, the largest word that was used inside that venue was the word "what," because I was going, "What? Huh? What?"
We're all half deaf anyway, so.
Travis nailed it. When he said that the best part of it was you guys all at the restaurant, when I was at OWN, it was the same thing. When we were all together, and it was just the meetup people talking and joking and laughing, that's the best part of these meetups. The rides are great, going off and visiting places is great. But the whole point of this is to actually meet each other in person and spend time getting to know each other a little more than what we see on our little screens.
Yeah.
That's what makes it so fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
absolutely.
Patrick and had Dez with him during the OWN ride, and the first thing I did as soon as I saw Dez was give Dez a hug. Like, her and I we've talked to each other. She's got my personal number. Like we've done different.
You give it out to everybody. Just saying.
I give it out to all the women.
I have it,
especially that one. But
let's get a little closer.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, look at that.
That's the thing, though. We get to see each other face to face. We get to shake hands. We get to hug. We get to.
Go on, let's hold hands.
Let's hold hands.
Yeah.
But
I hear tell I'm a great hugger. Just saying.
I'm a hugger. What can I say? But
because blessed to meet Des. I got to hang with her for 6 days.
She's a doll. I love her to death. She's an absolute.
I was just going to say, Des makes everybody feel like she's their best friend.
Yeah.
And getting to know her, I met her for the first time at the very first VAMM, and we've done all kinds of get-togethers and rides and stuff since then. And so when she said she needed a ride during OWN, no problem. Hop on the back. And she fell asleep a couple of times on me.
You know who I really got a kick out of was Noma Grace.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
You know,
she was hilarious.
I
was pretty
love
cool.
talking to her, man. She's like the sweetest lady, and
She
and
is, and I'll be honest, I like her personally more than I like her content. That
Oh yeah.
you know what?
her
I
content's
watch
fine, but like being her
She's-
personally, she's an absolute hoot.
She's a
my
trip.
wife and I watched it, and we're sitting there, and it's like, how do you not like her?
Exactly.
Like, she's just
You
like,
can't be mad at her at
no,
all,
it's
like ever.
She's like,
No,
and
she was a
I'm
school
telling you about
teacher.
my chicken.
That doesn't surprise me. That
She
really
was so
doesn't.
funny. I apologized to her like 3 times in a row for saying a bad word or something. And she's like, "Why does everybody do that?" And I said, "I don't know. Doyle does it in his videos when he says a bad word, so I figured it was a thing. We'll just do that."
Yeah, no, she's such a sweetheart. I like talking to her. She's really
She's
Hey,
like
Toby.
she's like everybody's mom or aunt, but the
Yeah.
really nice one. Like
yeah.
she's the one you never cuss around. Like
No.
you're always polite. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, man.
Yep. It's
Not
like
like my
having
auntie.
grandma or
Not-
auntie around, and you don't want to, insult her in any
No,
way.
I don't want to look bad.
And I kind of feel bad for her husband because we all obviously met her husband, but she's the one that got all the attention.
yeah.
If you notice
She's the
that everyone
star.
was going up to her, it was not going up to him.
Yeah.
Well, he's
Yeah,
got all
but he just
those
sits
hobbies
back
off.
and smiles.
Yeah, he just
Did you see
Yeah.
Mandy's video? And she's talking about how all of the guys, the girls were the misses, and then she gets to Nona Grace, and it was, you're the mister. You know?
Yes, that's right.
Mr. Nona Grace.
Yes.
Yeah. Mandy was so funny with everybody. She's like, "And do you have a channel? No. You just go with your husband's channel? Why don't you have your own channel?"
Yeah.
Because iPhone 10 doesn't have a channel.
Right.
Just call him iPhone Tim.
Oh, I was like, I felt so bad because we had the one stop and I was smoking a cigar, and then we get on the ride, and of course I'm in the middle of the pack where I don't belong. I was like, "Put me in the back. The choo-choo train goes in the back." And at the gas stop, I was like, "Sorry, Mandy." And I noticed that very quickly she took off with Tim well before I got on the bike.
Where's Patrick? Patrick's there. I heard you guys whenever I was trying to get back in here talking about meetups and rides and all that stuff. And to touch on what you just said about being at the bike, personally, when I organize group rides, and I wish more people would grasp and understand this, but I believe Patrick probably could get a really good grasp on it out of everybody in here, because I don't know the rest of you well enough. But if the slower, less experienced riders would volunteer to go to the front, it would make the rides a whole lot better. You wouldn't have that
you don't-
huge.
Right. Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
get the people in the back.
I do a lot of group riding, and Hey Richard, who was there, he always leads a lot of rides. Like he's a really good rider, and he knows how to group ride well. And we were talking about how you could tell that there were people that either had never group rode before or do it so seldomly. And like I do it like every weekend, and it's
I'm
a
the
skill.
seldom.
It's a skill.
So you're suggesting that the slow rider be at the front of the pack?
Yeah, and then the leader, okay, like at OWN, for instance, okay, when we tried to do the Black Diamond thing, or even the triple nickel ride that we did, if we'd have had the slower riders in the front, we could have done that, because I took 60 bikes last year or the year before down the triple nickel, but it was people that I was familiar riding with, and I always told them slower riders in the front. So then the leader can judge his speed and the pace off of that, because the further back that you get in the pack, the faster it gets. So then you've got somebody, I'm going to use you for an example, John, don't take it personally. You have somebody like John who's out of town, doesn't know the road, isn't comfortable, and he's in the back thinking he's got to run 60, 65 mile an hour on some twisty, curvy road that he's never been on before. Whereas if you put him up in the front, he's riding 45 mile an hour. Okay, me as the leader, I see what he's riding at, so I can base my pace off of that and give him a comfortable pace unit to follow.
Well, that brings up my next question. And John, you're the perfect one to ask this because you are, fairly new at group riding. Would you be more comfortable at the front of a big group at a slow pace or at the back?
I would probably be far more comfortable at the front because when I go out with people in this area, I'm always the leader because I know the road's the best.
Say you were at VAMM and they said, okay, we're going to do the back of the Dragon. You're going in front. Would you be okay with that?
I probably would be if the leader didn't. So the biggest problem I had on the back of the Dragon, despite the rain, was I lost track of None of Grace. And I couldn't tell where the next turn was. So whoever was riding behind me, I would put my hand up like, which way are we going on this turn? Because there were a couple of intersections. So I was like
say you had one guy in front of you that knew the route really, really well, and then you were behind him, so you didn't have to worry about getting lost. You would prefer to be at the front of the pack. You wouldn't feel like people were pushing you instead of at the back of the pack. Like Andy's saying, if you're at the back of the pack, you're feeling like you've got to keep up more than if you're at the front pacing everybody.
Well, that's what I felt like on the back of the Dragon was like, I got to keep up with the trike in front of me.
Right.
But in the back of my head, I always remember ride your own ride. Don't go outside your skill level because you're going to wreck. And I've seen that. And I got to be so let me be perfectly blunt here. There have been a number of motovlogger meetups and other group rides in my area on roads I'm familiar with that I didn't join in because I'm not a big group ride guy, but I watched their videos and no less than 3, sometimes as many as 7 accidents on one meetup ride. Like the ride was an hour and a half and they had one guy that fell like 3 times. And I'm like, I don't want any part of that. Like I want to know the people I'm riding with. And I kind of get a sense when I go to the first meetup, it's like, and obviously VAMM was different because it's people from all over, people with a bunch of different bikes and a bunch of different skill levels. I remember my first actual like large group ride was 25 bikes, and it was years ago, and I met up with 25 people I'd never met before. So I had that experience coming into VAMM, but that experience we had just like a Mr. G. Hey, we're not leaving anybody behind. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to go ride the road, and we want everybody to be safe. So with that ride, I mean, they really kept it to the speed limit, if not a couple below, just for people that were less experienced in a group situation.
When you're in a group ride, you have to ride to the most inexperienced rider.
Exactly.
Right. And I think that's what Andy is saying. Is
yes.
If you put that least, you put the least.
You need the fast guys at the back because the fast guys at the back are going to hold back and let everybody get ahead, and then they can have their fun.
Yes.
The guys, you should have the slowest people near the front and have the leader who knows the road going at a slow pace that they can handle, and let the hot rod at the back.
Yeah. And a good leader is going to take and get the and I want to touch on Toby's comments here in a minute if you'll let me. But a good leader is going to take what I'm trying to say is a good leader is going to take and he's going to judge his pace off of that slowest, less experienced rider to make that rider more comfortable. Exactly. To make sure that rider enjoys the ride. That's his goal. You're not trying to be, pardon my language, don't kick me out for this. You're not trying to be an asshole about it. You know what I mean? We did a ride up to Youngstown, and the guy leading it was running fast. We were in the back. I noticed a guy on a Sportster was kind of white-knuckled. When we stopped, I asked him, I said, you look kind of uncomfortable back there. He was like, to be honest with you, I am. I said, can I give you a piece of advice? And it's all in how you approach them and ask them. I said, I'll give you a piece of advice. Move up towards the front. Try that out. You might be a little more comfortable because it's slower up there.
Well,
I was looking at two things here. One, like Toby said, it seems to me a newer rider is going to be more uncomfortable up front, which is why I was asking John about that.
Because they're going to feel the pressure of everybody behind them, and in their mind, because I've been that guy, in their mind, they're thinking that everybody is watching and judging them.
Right.
Piss on what people are thinking about you. You know, the majority of the people, and that's the understanding that we, in my opinion, that we as experienced riders need to get out to newer riders without being cocky, arrogant, or being an asshole about it, because we all love doing this. But we need to get out there to them that, you know, if you move up here, it's going to be a better ride for you. Yeah, they don't want up there because they think somebody's judging them. But then when they're all the way in the back, that lead guy, like Toby's saying here, that lead guy's always looking for his tail gunner. When you got 50, 60 bikes, you can't see that tail gunner.
Bluetooth won't help you on roads like that either, because as soon as you're out of line of sight, they disappear.
They disappear.
What
So-
does work in this sort of situation too, and what we do with some of our big rides with the group that I ride with, is we'll put a good rider, well, the leader is at the front with the slow people. In the middle, you have another really good rider to kind of
knows the route.
That's got the communication, and then at the tail gunner is usually one of your best riders.
Yeah.
When I was at the original VAMM, I was the last person in the group. And that was a lot to do with wind road therapy, because I wanted to make sure nobody's going to run her over. And I had no problem. I had a blast. But when we did the own meetup and you did the group ride the way you did it, and I think Wayne might agree with this, whereas you had the fast group at the front, another leader leading another group, and a third leader leading the last group, I fell in love with that type of riding. I thought that was fantastic. And so now you're saying that isn't the way we should do it. And I'm like, dang it, I liked that way. But
There's different methods that work, but like at VAMM, everybody went in one big group. He wasn't separating it because he had the Iron Titans there. They knew their routes and everything for blocking and everything like that. Now, a couple years back, like I said, when I took 60 bikes down the Triple Nickel, I had my best rider in the group running tail gunner for me. And every stop sign that I came to, I would give the sign, hey, we're going single file, and I would get all the bikes over in the right lane. I made that clear in the safety briefing. When we come to a stop sign, we're going single file. Make sure you pay attention to hand signals. So we'd go single file, and then my tail gunner would come up. He wouldn't have to be in oncoming traffic's lane. He'd just come up alongside everybody. When I saw him beside me, that's how I knew I had everybody. That was our communication.
Hand signals are great. You just got to tell everybody at the beginning what hand signals we are using, because there are lots of them.
There are,
you know, and pay attention to this. Like Wayne made a really good point at the briefing at the Denny's or whatever it was, when he said, you know, if you see the guys coming up the side to move over, they wouldn't do it because I don't think there was enough that were experienced to do it. Us who were, we were doing it kind of at the back, like when we saw them coming, but these other people, they didn't know. And
too entranced in the ride to be looking at what's going on behind them.
Wayne and I have been marshals for a ladies ride, and we had them all trained. When we want to come up the side, you ladies all move to the right. Like the leader was putting the one finger up, and then they would all go along the side, and we would go tearing past them all because we got to go up and block the next road, you know. And that worked good.
Yeah, we generally didn't block.
Look me the bird.
Yeah, you did get that.
Yeah, when I
the
did
Rider
hear
PA, what's up?
Oh, look who's here!
Be the Rider PA.
I see that. That's awesome. Welcome. The last VAMM I heard they had 2 groups, fast and slow, that went out for rides.
That would work too.
But
Yeah,
that was a bit. There was some complaints about that because some of the people thought that they should have been in the slow group, and they ended up jumping up with us on the fast group after the Amish store because it was too slow for them. So some people just don't know their caliber, right? That to compare them against, they didn't know that they should have been in the fast group. They were assuming that the guys in the fast group were all like crotch rocket guys that were just going to be smoking the eggs off like Andy does.
Yeah, I agree though, Patrick. I mean, having the 3 groups I thought was a pretty and I've always heard exactly the way Andy describes. That's usually the way they do it. They put the new guys in the front. But having the 3 groups with 3 different leaders, I thought set a really nice pace for us.
I did too.
I was in the middle group, so at first I was kind of like, maybe I'm going to be in the slow group, but then I did end up later on pushing into the middle group, and the middle group was exactly where I wanted to be. Right. I didn't want to necessarily scrape pegs. I just wanted to have a good time, make sure because my wife does sometimes get sick on the bike, but I just wanted to have a good time. I wasn't there looking to drag pegs or anything like that. I was just looking to enjoy the ride.
At Owen, the one day the groups got separated because Dave's saddlebag came open. Now he's got the nickname Saddlebag forever now.
Yeah, when something like that happens, a case like that, there's not much that you can do.
Right. Well, they tried cell phone, and that didn't work.
We didn't have reception, but at the same time, in that case, what's the better way to handle that situation? Because
what was wrong with it was that
we lost half.
Know where everybody was going, so he made a decision to turn one way, and he should have went the other way, and it's not his fault either. But
no, we had all kind of technical difficulties.
Once they did get reception that they were able to talk, then it was, it's time to head back anyway. So just head back to the hotel. So
the other thing that is
that was a good place to have. Other than the campers, everybody stayed at that same one hotel, so that was pretty cool. For most of it. So, but that breaking up the group, like if you had different scenario, like if you had more people with headsets that were all the same brand, that you could stay connected a little bit, because they'll link. So you can be over the hill, but there's still a guy at the top of the hill that'll keep the signal going to everybody else. That's better than just having 1 or 2 guys having it front and back, and then you lose that signal, and then nobody knows what's going on, and then something happens, the saddlebag comes open, and somebody's got to stop, and they're lost.
But to be honest, Dave had a number of issues. You had to carry his medicine for him, spare batteries, a communicator. I think you carried his air mattress at one point. I know you definitely carried a stuffed animal for him and a pillow. So,
the one thing that I didn't like. Well, I shouldn't say didn't like. The thing that I'm used to in group riding is we always have, like, we ride staggered, and that staggered area where I am riding, that whole road is mine. If I'm on the right-hand side, the left lane's mine too.
Yeah.
And when people start moving into my space, I don't like that.
Yeah, don't crowd the bike in front of you. Because
give me, like, wherever my space is, you can stay.
Can I get Andy?
What?
I said, can I crowd Andy?
No.
That whole lane, wherever I am,
it's fun. I like that.
Right and left is all my lane. It should be that for everyone. You should.
Technic Rides had a good question here, John, if you want to highlight it. Next one up, where he asked, when you are in a lane in a group ride and you're in twisty, how does that work?
The whole lane is yours.
Yeah, you keep enough distance. Really, the staggered comes into when you're coming to a stop and you're bringing the group back together. That's when you want to be more of a in that full stagger. As soon as you start breaking out and you're in full stream, give that space, because you and the person in front of you need to have full access to the full road.
And he's right at the end.
We
where
saw
he-
that more at Owen. That just the road type that you had to give everybody their space, because everybody was, you know, your speed was higher. You were using your whole lane to make the maneuvers, right? So
because some of those were offset, blind. I mean, you didn't necessarily know
you
how
needed
much
you needed a little space behind, and
you needed to use the whole road. Like
Right.
Technic was saying,
Yeah.
you want to do the ride and do it technically correct. So you
Yeah.
need to use outside, get the apex to the inside, and then back to your positioning. But you don't
Sandy
want
is my. But hey, hold on. Sandy is my spirit animal, Patrick. Patrick, repeat yourself in a minute. Sandy is my spirit animal right here. Food related.
You're gonna have to elaborate on that one because I don't understand that one.
White line, yellow line.
Okay.
The other
I
thing
thought it was. I thought we were having food. I'm hungry.
Yeah.
I'm
Talking about the white line versus the yellow line.
I'm
Yeah.
more of a mustard guy.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely a mayo guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're riding in twisties, you better be doing both. You want to be
Yeah.
outside and come inside on the corner. And if you're in a group ride, you need to leave room so that everybody can do that.
Well, and when you have trikes and you have spiders, you gotta treat them differently because they don't have the same maneuverability that we do.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
The whole lane's theirs. There's no staggered formation when it comes to the trikes and spiders. The whole lane is theirs. They are technically two bikes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And you
Yeah,
need to
so-
treat it just like that. And then if your motorcycle's behind a trike, then you're still doing your staggered formation.
like often we'll put the spiders and the trikes together at the back. You know.
A lot of people do that.
Yeah.
Second class citizens.
Well, you know what? They are.
Don't do that with Spider Wayne, because he'll pull out and pass you.
Yeah,
And here to defend himself is Black Phoenix Entertainment.
Wayne is
Yeah,
tell,
I'll just-
tell me what you think about that with the staggered, with the riding your bike.
I honestly, I do it all the time in the sports bike group that I ride in, and
Yeah.
I think it's probably the familiarity with it now. Like, we've been riding together for a couple of years now, so we know how I ride. They know how I ride. They know how I'm going to hit the corners and stuff.
Yeah.
What happens with me is when I get someone who's either never ridden with a trike that takes up that much room, or just doesn't understand my riding style, you know, that gets behind me. Because there are times where bikes will wiggle, like you guys, and you can correct it. The trikes are much more exaggerated with the wiggle, and I've had a guy behind me freak out and almost wipe out. He sees my rear end go like this, and I'm recovering and I'm fine. But you know, the guy behind me is like, "Oh shit, what's going on?" You know, this trike is wiggling. That's when you need to give us a little bit more room so we can recover from something like that.
Yeah.
I will tell you.
Travis
I
has it
was on
exactly right.
I will tell you, I was on a group ride. They had 150 bikes registered and 400 showed up. So it was already our Charlie Foxtrot. And at one point, the group got split into two, and it was across 2 or 3 counties, and they only had 1 county worth of police to escort. And at one point, there was a guy in front of me, and the guy, like, I think he was like 3 bikes in front of me, and his friend was like right behind me. And we made a left at an intersection, and I noticed at the last second there was a huge dip in the middle of the road. I was like, I ain't riding through that. And I went around it to the right, and sure as shit, the guy on the BMW ended up in a cornfield because he was crowding me. And when I made my maneuver to go around that pothole, he went right off into the cornfield and came back onto the road like 3 bikes behind, and then sped past me in the left lane. And I was like, problem number 1 with group riding, problem number 2 with group riding, and problem number 3 with group riding. Things to avoid in the future. And I've not been on that group ride since. But I will go on a group ride with you all again, because despite me getting way far behind, it was a very enjoyable weekend.
The problem, John, was that it shouldn't have been you that left the ride. It should have been him.
Yeah.
He's the one that made the boo-boo.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah,
I
that
didn't
was
go off
on
in the
him.
cornfield.
Right.
He went in the cornfield. I stayed on the road. I followed my line.
He shouldn't have been anywhere near you for that.
No, he shouldn't have. And I was just like, okay, I'm going to do my thing. Whatever you want to do, go. Fine. And I moved over to the right when I saw him coming up on my left. I was like, bye. See ya.
Roger and I have put over 100,000 miles together on different trips that we've taken over the years. And we've had many instances where wildlife will run out in front of us and we'll swerve opposite directions in the same lane. And we're nowhere near each other enough to worry about hitting each other. Because we're staggered, even though we've been going down the road, done fist bumps and stuff like that. When we're actually in general riding, we stay staggered enough that, and we call it crazy Ivans, so that when something unexpected happens, we both have room to avoid each other.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, something I ran into last week when I got back to VAMM, I met up with that sports group. There was a new rider, new kid, just met him on a 250 something. I don't think he realized how fast the Riker was, because I was coming up to him on the corners, and I can power out of those corners a lot faster than most bikes, and especially at 250. I saw that I freaked him out, so I ended up backing off and letting a couple other people by and be like, hey, you guys be behind him, because he's obviously not used to, that this bigger Spider Riker being behind him, and then just, let him ride his own ride.
So timing rule, usually on group rides and stuff like that, we always said 2-second rule. Is that not enough, or is that, in my experience, that's been pretty good?
Yeah.
I watched Jarvis. Jarvis leaves about a quarter second.
What are you talking? Me and Jarvis ride side by side.
I know you guys are like this. You're like this
until he wants to have a go at the old beat up mule down there. He wants to have a go at it, and then I just blow his windshield off.
Well, the thing about that is,
didn't happen.
You guys established that relationship over a period of time. You didn't start out like that.
Right. That's
no.
No, I sat back and watched
you're
for
absolutely
about half
right.
a day, and then I jumped in.
Right. We did 880 miles at Owen, and you and Wayne and a couple others were together almost that whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100 miles, we all knew how we were riding. Wayne came up and passed me. It was like, yep, I knew that was coming. Sinister Clutch was up there right in front of me.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a good rider too.
Actually backed off and went behind.
Randy's a good rider too.
Established a riding relationship so that we knew what we were doing. And if you are in a group ride that lasts that long, those kind of things can happen.
Yeah.
Or, and hear me out here, you could ride with Randy for 10 minutes and then do a 70-mile-an-hour fist bump.
Usually, with me personally and some of the more experienced riders that I ride with, it doesn't take me that long to get a feel for them, or vice versa for them to get a feel for me.
Yeah. Yesterday, a buddy contacted me and he goes, "Hey, I gotta go to Huntsville." So that's like a 2.5-hour ride from our place. And he goes, "Let's go." And I said, "Yeah, okay." I jumped on the bike and we went, and we were side by side the whole time. We hadn't ridden together all year. We rode a little bit last year to Windsor for the Probert ride, but other than that, we hadn't been together. We were like bookends all the way, and we were rolling because we had to be there and back in one night. So,
to
elaborate,
Roger and I, we actually had gone on a ride with another buddy of ours one time, and we had come to a stop. We ate or something at a restaurant, and Roger actually left, and my buddy Pete was like, "What's he doing?" And I said, "Oh, I bet he's just doing a loop. He's going to come back because he was getting too hot." And sure enough, he comes back, and my buddy Pete's like, "You guys are scaring me. It's like you're reading each other's mind." When you ride with people for a while, that's what happens. You know what's coming. You know what you can almost intuit what they're going to do next.
Yeah.
And riding as many miles as we did, you, Wayne, me, and Road Glide Andy there, we were up. I mean, we were hitting it hard, but we had done it so much that we knew what we were all doing. And it turned into a great ride and a lot of fun.
And we weren't being stupid. Like, we weren't pushing it right to the limit either. I mean, we were hauling pretty good through some of those corners, but there was always a little bit left. Like, you weren't right on the edge.
No, I barely ever. The only time I scraped a peg was when I did it on purpose because Dez was laughing at Andy doing it.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't hitting those corners at full tilt.
Every time I did it, it was on purpose, and in order for me to do it, I have to take the corner 100% wrong.
Yep.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
you're going in and then you're dipping. You
Right. And
give
I
it a
pointed
dip to
out.
get it hit.
I'm
I pointed
running
that
the
out.
inside all the way to the out, and at the last minute, I'm throwing the bike over.
Here's one that I got, and it was like, it was probably 15 or 20 feet long, the scrape. It was like it was really good. So
you guys elaborating back on group riding, because I wasn't in here to comment on it. One of the things that I realize is when you were doing that in a group ride with that many people, like 60 people, you need to always remember you need an out. You have to have an out when you're riding. In your mind, you got to think, where am I going to go if the crap hits the fan? You got to give yourself that out. If you can think like that through that group ride, you're way ahead of the game.
Well, you should be doing that in any ride.
Yeah, and then you're right, Patrick. You are absolutely 100. But I'm just saying for the newer riders that when they get involved in it, because it can be overwhelming to somebody that's never done that before. And you got bikes, and then you got guys that are coming up, like you said. You got to move over so they can get up ahead of you, so they can block the blockers. And it can be kind of overwhelming for some people that have never ridden before. But I truly believe, like you were saying, that with the groups, what is the amount of guys that should be in a group at one time? Because is it like John was saying, he had 400 people. Well, what are you gonna do? You got to break up those groups in the 50s. What do you how to be safe? You've got to think about safety. And
okay, so
what is the number?
Let's take the Wicked ride that Kev was talking about. That's all ladies, and they're all various calibers of riders. And there was trikes and everything built into that as well. And they limited the registration to 100 riders. And they had 4 groups. So they had 4 groups with blockers for each group. And then they had Kev and I rolling through them doing video. And like it was perfect. And they do like 2 stops on the way to the final destination where they had a big meal and barbecue and everything for them. But so 25 riders was perfect. The blockers could get to the next place in time to catch up and be there at the front to make the block for them, and then they just carried on.
I think
they
the
also
roads
had
have a lot to
police
do with it too,
for
don't
that
you?
one as well. For a couple of the really bad intersections, the police were there for them.
Yeah. Well, my daughter just got done taking her motorcycle classes, and she passed. But what she explained to me, when the instructor said just about that, talking about group riding, and you guys were elaborating on it, you always should put the slow riders up front. They said that in this class. The slow riders should always go up front. And reasoning being that is because it slows everybody else down. You don't get that accordion effect. It slows that accordion effect down quite a bit. And I've been on many group rides, and that's the thing that I hate about a group ride is like you said, they put slow riders in the back, more experienced riders in the front, or it's just and then you get the guys that want to cut in front of each other, and they don't understand staying safe in their comfort. So you got to keep that out. That's if you can keep that, you'll be fine. But you're right, Patrick. You're right.
For a big group ride like that, you got a bunch of novices in there as well. Like it's better to do it that way. I mean, if you're going to do the dive bombing in the corners and all that, that's basically like Andy and Patrick and I and Randy.
And I'd have never really
went on our own.
If we'd have had the slower people up front and took everybody down the triple nickel in one big group, I'd have never rode. You would have saw a totally different rider. You know what I mean? I'd have been taking corners straight up, more or less.
Yeah.
I just worry about the newer riders being very uncomfortable being either in front or in the middle. every new rider that I've ever been on a group ride with,
They want to be at the
They need
back.
to be
They
at the
don't
back.
want to interfere with
Right.
the fast guys, right? So that contributes to them getting lost. I mean,
Because they don't understand
that's what
the
happens.
mindset of the ride. They don't get because they never done it before. So they don't realize they're safer up front than they are in the back, because they're going to play catch up if they're in the back. They're going to constantly be on the throttle, off the top, constantly trying to catch up if you're in the back. So it gives them their skill levels are going to be diminished by doing that, because
And for you guys up north, this is probably a good comparison that I used to always say is when I was snow skiing, the skilled skiers stayed in the back so they could avoid the slow skiers or the new skiers when they crashed or
That's
when
right.
something went wrong.
there you
Motorcycle riding, I think, is very similar.
go. Similar.
You want
Yes, it is.
the guys with the skills, guys and girls with the skills in the back.
Mhm.
They can see what's going on
Exactly.
quicker than a newer rider, and they can
Yeah.
avoid the mishaps hopefully a little easier.
Yes,
It-
absolutely.
As a newer rider, when I started out and newer rider and newer into group ridings and all that stuff, when I joined the Hog chapter, I stayed up towards front because that's what I mean. Be the rider PA was telling me to do that.
Mhm.
And I stayed up towards the front, and then more experienced riders, I'd talk to them and be like, "Hey, what am I doing wrong?" Or even my buddy Paulie, him and I would go out on rides, and he'd tell me to lead. I would lead, and he would, give me suggestions, and that's. I think that newer riders think in the back of their head, like I said earlier, they're being judged and somebody's going to make fun of them. They don't want to get their feelings hurt. Whereas in reality,
Did
probably
I hear
what's going to
reality?
happen.
Hold on. Did somebody say reality?
Yeah, I did. In reality, not road reality, but in the world reality, probably what's going to happen is the more experienced rider is going to, give you some helpful tips. But people don't know how to take constructive criticism these days.
Well, I'd say,
100%.
recently my son learned how to ride a motorcycle, and I taught him the very first time I rode in front of him. That was the only time. After that, I rode behind him so that I could critique him and teach him. And it was easier from behind than being in front.
Absolutely. At after the back of the Dragon, I was like, "Hey, Mr. McStash, I know you were behind me. What'd you think?" And he's like, "You did fine. Just you tapped the brakes a couple of times mid corner, and I probably wouldn't do that. But other than that, you did just fine." I was like, "All right." Coming from that guy, not to diminish anybody else's experience in this panel, but McStash I know is a trained rider, and I knew he was watching me from behind, so it kind of was like, "Whoa, all right, I guess I can do this."
You should get somebody who's a skilled rider to ride with you for, like a week or so. Just have them ride behind you.
I had a friend like that, but he rode only Italian sport bikes, and his criticism was less than constructive.
Yeah, no, you need somebody who's going to be constructive and positive.
Right.
So
Yeah,
the old-
I have a buddy who had bought a Fat Boy, and speaking of cornfields earlier, he ran his Fat Boy off in a cornfield. And after he healed up from that and stuff, I took him out and I told him, I said, "You get in front of me." He's like, "No, I'm not comfortable. I don't want to follow you." I'm like, "No, you get in front of me. You want me to help you. You get in front of me." And now he's riding a road glide, and he rides as nutty as I do at times.
Yeah.
There you go.
Roger's
So
talking
the
about
only problem I had was at Owen was that I was following Patrick and I kept having to hit the brakes all the time, and it was because Des was waving her arms around. I thought we were getting signaled to slow down, or that there was something on the field.
Yeah. She was talking with her hands, and everybody behind her thought she was giving hand signals
The
about
first
left.
stop, I went up to her and I said, "You got to stop doing that because you're making us all freak out back here."
That's one thing about me. Like if I'm leading, I quit listening to my radio when I'm leading because I sit there and I dance and sing and do all kind of hand movements, and people are all confused. And then when I do give hand signals, they don't pay attention.
Right. You did do that to us a couple times on this ride at home when you were pointing out different things on the side of the road. You'd point, and we'd all look. You're like, what's he pointing at?
Turtles. I ended up seeing 14 turtles.
A cat. There was a cat, a Garfield, out in the field trying to run through the tall grass.
I saw that one.
Crazy cat. It's in the video.
There was a couple of deer.
Oh yeah, there were tons of deer.
Yeah, I got the deer coming out of town. I got that one.
There was a couple of turtles. In fact, on 78 Sunday, you guys saw a turtle walking across the road.
No jump offs for me, Sandy.
Yeah, do not jump off. John, you like to jump off your bike and start dancing around in the middle of an on-ramp.
Oh yeah,
No.
I'll stop anywhere. You know, it's so funny the looks you get at a red light or a stop sign, whatever, when there's nobody around, and then they all pull up, and you're like standing off the bike. I got one in the video next to Jarvis. We're at the red light, and I was like, "Hey, look, we're doing a jump off." And apparently somebody was like, "Yeah." As soon as we said that, John jumped off his bike. We're like, "Oh, we're waiting on John to do a jump off." I can't even own that. I borrowed it from somebody else.
Gil.
Yeah, like one of the crotch rocket guys used to do that.
Mine is what are you going to do when a car comes flying up on the pack and the rest of the pack sees the car come flying up and they all go around and there you are dancing and then this car just takes you and your bike out?
I jump away from the bike and the car can go right through it. Bike can be replaced.
Enjoy the beach, Roger.
Time for a new bike anyway.
Yeah, I know. This thing's like 4 years old. I got to have my wife save up to buy me a new one.
You need a road glide.
Get yourself a new CVO Indian.
Yeah, something like that. I would love to have the big screen in front of me with all the information, but I don't know. The current Street Glide that I have has a great mix of technology and old school, so I'm a huge fan of it.
I love my 19. You got a 19 also, right, John?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the 19.
I do too. That it doesn't. Well, yours probably does because yours is a special, ain't it, Rudy?
Yeah, mine's a special.
Yeah, I have the Ultra, so I've got the smaller wheels with taller rubber.
Mm-hmm.
A little cushier. You also have an extra inch of suspension travel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to get a set of 13-inch shocks to put on this bike because the potholes around here are freaking killing me.
Me too.
Yeah, it'll help out some, but with them low-profile wheels, it just.
I'm surprised I haven't bent a rim yet, to be honest.
Yeah,
I've hit a few.
Jack, HDR hit a pothole on his way back from North Carolina, and it ended up sticking a spring in the front end.
Really? Is that what happened to it? Because everything was on an angle.
Well, what he thought the gauges were off to the right, but he was just leaning the bike to the right to get it to go straight down the road because the one spring was stuck in the compressed position. Now, if he had low-profile tires, he'd have met one. What's that?
Put legends in his front end.
He's going to.
Yeah. That's my next. If I was going to do anything, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to spend the money on it, but I think I'm going to do Legends front and rear next year. The guy that Jeff uses.
Back, it's a big difference. You get the back done. That's an extra couple of hours on the saddle. It'll make you.
Here was my whole thing was, you know how the stock Harley has the adjustable knob, right?
On one side.
Right.
On one side. So a buddy of mine put air ride on one of his bikes. So I got his stock shocks. My idea was I'll just take the other adjustable shock and put it on the right side, but it won't fit. The cutout's different.
No.
Yeah, they're asymmetrical.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer. I was looking at Legends for the back, and I was going to leave stock in the front for the time being. I got to mix it in with the services. But the shop that I'm taking my bike to now, they have a race shop, so they have lots of knowledgeable suspension technology folks, so they can hook me up with the right thing for the roads around here.
I did the front end on my Goldwing, so when I do the fronts, I'll do it myself.
You had to replace the front suspension on a Goldwing? I thought that thing was solid from the factory.
The bushings.
He had 1 million miles on it.
bushings and changed the fluid and everything. Checked them all out, mic'd them up, made sure they were okay.
Nice.
No,
Yeah, my
the,
next bike is going to be a limited of some sort.
the Legends front suspension is $1,000, and the guy only charges $100 to put it in. I'll take
Yep.
that deal.
Yeah, I asked the local shop when I took it in for $25K. I was like, "Hey, what do you guys charge for this?" And they're like, "an hour and a half labor, so $150, $200 to do the install, and they set it up for your weight and gear and everything else." So I'm like, "Yeah, that's money well spent versus me dicking around on my driveway."
Yeah, it'd be way more up here for that. But
take care, Minnow. Well, yeah, it's Canadian too. Hey, look who's in the side chat. It's
Todd
Todd
from Tennessee. What
who
is
didn't
up,
show up to
dude?
VAMM because he's a loser. I'm kidding.
Oh man!
Shots fired.
Woo! Cannonballs.
got all these
Yeah,
snobby
I'm about to
snobs
get
who
out of
went
here
to
too. I've got to
Hawaii.
get up early tomorrow. I've got to go to the hospital.
All right, Patrick.
All right, take it easy, bud.
See you later, bud.
Hey, it was great being here. Thanks, guys.
Yep. Nice
Hey,
to
thank
talk to you
you.
again. Later.
All right, see you.
Yep, good riddance.
Oh yeah.
And there he goes. All right. Hey, look, I don't have to scroll through the people anymore. I only got the 5.
And then there were 5.
Yes.
Yeah, Ty. It was my wife's birthday. Yeah, uh-huh.
Oh, she could have celebrated at VAMM.
She could have. They had restaurants there.
Yep.
You could have
Cake.
taken her
Yeah, I'm
out for a
sure they got
steak
cake.
dinner.
Huh?
Yeah. We'd have found her a cake at the Food Lion.
Yeah.
It's okay, Todd. Next year you guys are doing a Tennessee moto meetup.
Oh my God, I'm going to spend a month just traveling and seeing everybody on the way south.
Speaking of
Well,
traveling, what's all your next events, all you guys? Where are you going next?
I'm
If I
trying to
could-
go to the Pennsylvania Grand Canyon next.
Where's
When
that?
you want to go?
Pennsylvania?
September.
Where is it? Where about?
Pennsylvania.
It's
I already said that.
we talked about it earlier, Jarvis. It's about 5.5 hours straight north of DC.
Look at
So
it.
about 7 hours south of you, probably.
What's it called?
PA Grand
Pennsylvania
Canyon.
Canyon.
P.A.
Grand
Grand
Canyon.
Canyon.
Let's see. You see how far
Hang on.
I dropped an address in the side chat.
All right.
Yeah, it's 5-hour ride for me. But what's my next plan? Well, I'm getting a tractor this weekend to do my flower beds and stuff and clean them up. And depending on how bad that hurts me in diesel fuel,
7 hours.
Take care, Mr. G.
It's
the
4
weekend of August.
G. Good night.
The weekend of August 18th, I might be down in Summersville with Randy from Sinister Clutch doing a weekend camping trip. And then the weekend of September 15th is our anniversary, and we're going up to Niagara Falls on the New York
Nice.
side.
Nice.
And my Canadian friends are going to come visit.
There you go.
Hey, they're going to bring you maple syrup, eh?
I don't have a problem with that.
They got good maple syrup on that side of Niagara River too.
Well, I hear that your guys' ketchup is better than ours and healthier.
It doesn't have high fructose corn syrup.
Right.
That's maple syrup.
Ketchup.
I just
So
got beer on my keyboard.
Maple syrup.
we got French's are the two that we most popular ones up here. But there was a little bit of a thing where Mike's all the farmers go up in Canada and they were getting all the tomatoes from the US, so they kind of got boycotted up here.
Oh, geez.
You like Bob Evans, right? You and Dave love Bob Evans, right?
Dave doesn't like Bob Evans.
You do.
Jarvis does.
His brand of tea. So he has to struggle ordering tea at Bob Evans.
Well, I was going to say, come down to my area and I will take you to the original Bob Evans farm if you've never been.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could do that.
And Jarvis has all the vacation time in the world.
Right.
Well, yeah, I do. It's great.
We'd have to plan it for a
So when
weekend that I'm off.
okay, so back to the PA Grand Canyon thing. When are you doing that?
When you want to do it?
I'm doing Niagara Falls with you.
Yep.
That's September, correct?
September 15th. Mark it on your calendar.
Yeah, I think I do. John, when are you going to PA Grand Canyon?
Not totally decided, but the month of September looks good. Because August, the rest of July and August is a crapshoot.
Don't make it the 15th, and I'll run over and meet up with you.
Okay.
Because I got to meet up with Andy on the 15th.
I'm taking notes.
When's it start getting cold up there?
Depends on your definition.
Riding?
Yeah.
I'll ride right up until they put salt on the road, which is in November.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, around November.
But I put the heated suit on about early October.
Yep.
Well, let me know when you guys.
That gives me about 2.5 months extra riding time that I normally wouldn't have, especially for Linda. It's really increased her riding time.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Now, let me know when you pick to do the PA Grand Canyon, because I'll try to meet you up there. If you do it on weekend, then it's my weekend off. But I don't know how it's going to work because I'm taking vacation for the 15th. Taking vacation day, and that's actually my Saturday to work. We rotate Saturdays. So I'm not sure how the other guy's going to want to do that.
All right.
Yeah, I haven't gotten any plans
know when
solidified, but I've got a couple of riders that want to go. So I'm
Yeah.
trying to work the schedule out and see when I can see what I have to say to my wife to piss her off to get a weekend off, but not get divorced.
Because that's like not that much farther than going to Erie, Pennsylvania for us. And we'll do that in a day just as a day trip.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I consider doing 200 miles a day trip because I get my sorry ass out of bed at 11 and got to be home by 5.
No, last year the wife and I went down because we were planning on doing this Wandy 9 meetup that we did, and I wanted to run some of the ones that I hadn't run. And her and I went down and run like 4.5, 5 of them, and come back home. We didn't stay down there. We came back home, and it ended up being like 800 miles that day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I think that was about the only ride she got out on last year. She's a trooper, man.
I just want my wife to ride her bike more. She has her own bike, but she rides like once a year when I make her. Then there's an awkward silence.
Wait, what's Ty talking about?
Because
I was reading what Ty was saying.
Yeah, what's he talking about here?
I have no idea.
Well, we got more people wanting on this PA thing.
Oh my goodness! Don't make me lead the group. I've never been there before.
You know what we said earlier? The weakest rider in the front.
Yeah. You know what? Most people would be offended by that, but I'm like, cool. That's a badge of honor. You know, I'm the guy up front dicking around going slow. I follow the GPS. The only thing I heard about the PA Grand Canyon was like the last half mile or so is gravel. So I was like, maybe I'll find an alternate route around that's paved.
All right. Yeah, guys, I got to take off too. I got to work early in the morning. So
slacker.
What are you gonna do?
I got to work.
What's that?
I still do that.
Four-letter word.
Dirty word at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna get me demonetized.
I'd have a lot more time.
Rides. Thank you. Thank you.
Tomorrow's my Friday.
Every day is my Friday.
Tomorrow's your Friday. Oh, I'm jealous, man.
I wish every day was Friday for me.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, Ryan, thank you very much for organizing the ride down and back, and bon chance, as the French would say.
Yeah.
Everybody go subscribe to Ryan if you're not subscribed.
Yep.
And everybody else you've seen on screen,
I'll be talking to you, Ryan.
All right. Yeah, I'll talk to you guys.
We got some stuff to do about meeting up with all the guys up here, getting the group together.
I know we got to kick him in the ass.
We got to, yeah, we do. I already talked to Michael Bike about it. I'm like, let's go. Enough of this.
You guys have the same problem everybody does. You get 40 people that want to go on a ride. A month later, it's 20 people. A week prior, it's 7 people, and then just the 2 of you show up and hold hands.
At this
That's the
point,
way it works, dude.
At this point, it's not a ride; it's a meetup. They can ride
meet
to
it.
where we're
We
going
can't
to
even
be.
meet.
They can ride their own ride. Just you want to get them all together, because
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
But, yeah,
You'll get
I'll catch
20
up with
people
you.
that'll say they'll show up, and 10 of them will.
Yeah.
That's the way it all works.
It's crazy.
Like for own, we had 150 people saying they were coming, and we
Yeah,
ended up
Ryan.
with like 50.
Yeah, because the weather was claiming it was going to rain. That's why everybody stayed home.
It stayed fairly dry.
But they didn't know it was going to do that. None of us did. It's just that we were dumb and brave enough to go.
Is that way it is?
Yeah.
Well,
Hey, when I reserved the room at the
We're
Fin
just not
Castle,
made of sugar. We're not going to melt like the other ones.
Nope. No. Plus, you know what I noticed? Where me and you, Jeffs, are located in the north, we'll ride in anything basically. I've been in a nor'easter. I've ridden in rain, sleet, 12-degree weather. I've ridden in all that crap. And
Linda
to me,
and
it
I
doesn't.
rode in a tornado.
Tornado. I never hit a tornado yet. I don't want that.
Tornado, we were in it. So
Yeah. So that's the difference. When you see, oh yeah, it's rain. Oh, who cares? Let's go.
Yep.
yeah,
You just get that mindset.
It's pouring right now here. We had tornado warnings all night, and we don't ever get tornado warning.
Yeah.
We rode through a hurricane.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've ridden when the wife was pregnant with my daughter. That's when I had my first bike. It was a little Yamaha 650, and it was 8-9 miles to work. Just so she had a vehicle at the house, I rode the bike to work, and I was working midnight shift. And I rode that thing in the snow.
oh jeez.
Yep.
I got caught in the snow once, but it wasn't sticking. And I turned around so I could ride into it because I wanted to catch it on camera.
Put it this way, I didn't miss a month of riding last year. I rode all
it was
year
a mild
long.
winter.
Yeah, I noticed John, Cycle Fanatics. He rode all year.
Yep.
Yeah.
They had
Matter of fact,
heated gloves and stuff on, but they were riding all winter.
matter of fact, Jeff, I was asking about your next rides, where you're going. I have a ride with Doc Holly next Sunday. We're gonna go up to New York, up to Lake George, and it's just a day ride. But when Adam Sandoval came here to our local area, I was hanging out with John from Cycle Fanatics, and he's planning a ride to go to Maine, upstate Maine. So I'm hoping to hook up with those guys and do that. But I think that's going to be in September.
You're
So
just
that should be a
clout.
good
You're
time.
just clout chasing, Rody.
No cloud.
It
is what it is.
That was an awesome experience. The Adam Sandoval ride.
Oh hell yeah, that was fun. I went to 2 dealerships with him. So,
Yeah, I didn't get to join in on that.
yeah.
That was fun.
Yep. And he mentioned in one of the at the beginning of all this, because I don't know who chose the dealerships, but he did say, he goes, I just want all the dealerships that I didn't go to let you know that he wants to plan something to go to those that he missed for the Wounded Warrior project. He wants to go back out and go to the ones he didn't go to.
Damn.
So Rody,
That's crazy, huh?
Rody, Lake
Yeah.
George for me is 6.5 hours.
It's like 4 hours for me, 5 hours, like that same thing. Yeah, it's yep.
So what are you planning on doing for
Well,
that? The day trip?
It's just going to be a day trip. It's not like we're staying up there. If we were to stay up there, I'd tell you, yeah, come meet us. But it's a turn and burn.
Well, like if I can talk the wife, like if it's a date that you're doing it that the wife is off,
It'll be August 5th.
we would just continue on to New Hampshire. Like we just meet up with you and then head the rest of the way for ours.
It will be August 5th that we'll be doing that.
August.
It's going to be
5th.
me. It's going to be me, Corey, and Doc. meeting up with Motor Noggin, Blue, and Roy's Motor Adventure up there. So that's we're gonna meet up with all those guys.
Okay.
Well, tell them I said hi.
I sure will. Do you want to come?
I'm busy washing my hair that weekend.
Okay. Jim in the nose hairs.
Oh yeah, those need trimming. I'm getting a little nasally. Now I got stuff going on the next like 6 weekends. It's crazy. I'm just trying to carve out the time to go up to the PA Grand Canyon because now Jarvis predicted it. I've got the bug, and I want to go and stay overnight at places and ride around the areas and then ride back, and it's a whole to do. And like I said, it's just trying to find the right words to say to the wife that gets me the weekend off, but not divorced.
Just piss her off bad
You
enough
can
where
maybe
she
go
kicks
to,
you out. That's what
maybe-
I do.
You can do another little side trip over to see Puxatawny Pete.
Punxsutawney Phil?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the groundhog?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of him. He really messed with I can't think of his name. The guy from the movie.
Tom Hanks.
Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Bill Murray, yeah. Tom Hanks.
Yeah, he wrecked Bill Murray's truck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, guys, it's been 2 hours and 40 minutes. I think we're going to call it there. I want to thank everybody that was at VAMM and everybody that came on the stream tonight. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. If you saw somebody in the stream tonight, go check out their channel. Let them know your old buddy John sent you. Andy, Rhodey, Jarvis, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for sticking along with us.
Yep.
Any closing thoughts?
Well, thanks for having me.
The only thing I got is a piece of advice for you, buddy, and that is the only thing that's going to make you a better rider is saddle time. So get your butt in the saddle.
Yep.
More than just commuting. Gotcha.
Yep.
I ride 5,000 miles a year, and it's the same 10 roads back and forth.
Like I told you, dude, you've got that GPS on the new boom on that thing. Get on the highway and ride 2 hours away from your house.
And turn around, come back.
Stop, fill it up with gas, and set your GPS for your home address, but put it on Twisty, and it will find roads that you never knew of.
You are 100%
I'm going to do
right.
that. I usually set it to scenic, so I'm going to set it to Twisty.
Yeah.
Set it to Twisty, avoid highways, avoid tolls, and all that BS.
So we
and that thing will take you and show you things that you never knew.
That was out there. Yep.
Well, I appreciate that. And you know what? All the people at VAMM were awesome, and it was so great to ride with everybody and get constructive criticism on my own riding, because I fully admit I'm not the world's greatest rider. I've been doing it a long time, but not that long and not that well. So any advice I get, I take it from the people that are like, hey, I know what I'm doing. Take this advice, John. So I do appreciate that.
Some of us just have a few less brain cells. We don't know no better.
This is true. And when the road gets straight, I do weird things like go one-handed or no-handed and do fist bumps and all that stuff. And I've said it in a dozen videos. Get out of your comfort zone, go do something different, challenge yourself. And that's advice I need to take too. So I'm willing to do that. And now I'm going to go finish up the VAMM videos so I can post them this weekend.
Look forward to seeing them. You do really good work.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think everybody's going to like them, and they're coming out soon. So that's what we're going to do. Rhodey, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I want to thank you for having me on here. It was an awesome experience meeting all you guys down at VAMM. And just, John, just ride your ride, man. Just like Andy said, go way out and go on that and put the map in there for twisties, and you'll find, your skill levels will go up. You're just doing that. Instead of riding around the block, you just go out and come back. Yep.
I love it.
Take a
I
gas.
love it. Jarvis, anything you want to say?
Before you leave, I'm going to get a hold of you to see where we can meet up or something at some point. So I'll keep in touch with you.
Okay.
Yeah, Instagram is good for that.
Yeah, yep. Awesome.
Jarvis has too many Facebook groups. Jarvis, any final thoughts?
Just make sure that everybody over there, likes and subscribes to all these other guys' channels here, and make sure that everybody is hooked up and see all their videos because they're pretty cool. So.
Oh yeah, I don't think we mentioned it earlier, but it's really wild to see yourself from somebody else's perspective. Like I saw myself in Ryan's videos. I was watching with my kids. I had my phone sitting there while they got themselves ready for bed last night, and they'd come over after brushing their teeth or whatever and be like, "Daddy, I see you. Where are you now?" And I'm like, "I'm way off screen, dude. I'm like 17 bikes behind."
Yeah.
That's why I'm waiting on the slacker down here to get the own videos up because he was behind me on the majority of the rides. So I'd like to see a different point of view of it.
Yep, that's the only reason I took my neighbor lady for a ride last year, was so she could follow me and I could get a view of how I go through corners.
Need to find a better way to say that.
Yeah, I know. Huh?
No, I don't. My wife knows that she's been twice divorced, and every time she files for divorce, I go up to her and I say, "Is now the right time to ask you if you want to join my harem?"
Yeah.
She has declined twice now. By the way, my father-in-law doesn't like that joke.
Yeah.
Third time's charm.
That's what I'm hoping for. When she invited her new boyfriend over about Halloween last year, and I walked up and was like, "Hey, nice to meet you. Where's Scott that was here last week?" And his name is not Scott. And oh yeah, I was like, I gotta break him in. I was like, "Oh wait, no, that's your job." And she just kind of turned red and walked away. And then he was bundling up the rope from the sign that they hung from the tree, some horror thing, I don't know. And I was like, "Hey, save that rope. You're gonna need it later." Yeah, I'm just like my videos, but even worse in person. It's good times.
You are. Like, I literally thought, like, in your videos you were putting on an act and you'd be a totally different person, and like on live streams and you'd be a totally different person in person, but no, I was 100% wrong.
And because I like to be the center of attention, I appreciate that comment.
But
I just try to have as much fun as possible, guys.
life's too short not to.
Absolutely. And I got a couple of kids that drag me down. So when I get away from them, I'm a fun guy.
My kids are the best thing ever happened to me.
Mine will be when they're grown and they know how to behave and I don't have to correct them.
Yeah, that my kids and my wife, best things ever happened in my life.
My wife is by far the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Well, yeah, she pays for everything for you.
She does. She does. Yeah. I make sure the bills are paid. She makes sure the money's there.
Right.
It's good. You guys think I'm joking?
No,
No, I don't.
I pay for the childcare because I want them to go away during the day so I can go get my job done or go ride the motorcycle. My mom takes the kids Friday night through Sunday afternoon, and I go ride both days. Like if it's nice out, I'm riding for 5-6 hours just tooling around. It's good fun. Now I'm gonna go out and tool around further and then snake my way back and get better at this. Get better at this whole leaning the bike thing, you know.
Yes.
So guys,
you'll find that as you get going out, then you'll have to move out farther just to see new things. Is what's going to happen. So it's a different.
Well, I try to tell the wife, "Hey, buy us a house further away from town," but she doesn't want a longer commute. So I'm kind of stuck where I'm at in my porch here.
You should get one in like Virginia.
Oh, no, fuck Virginia. Pardon my French.
Well,
But Northern Virginia. So where I live, like anything within an hour of me that's called Virginia is a quagmire of BMWs and Mercedes phone zombies. And they got a phone blocking their entire eyesight while they drive, and they're all assholes, and I have no use for that.
It's because you're right there by DC.
Oh no, I'm not going into DC. No.
Get shot.
Even if you don't get shot, you get run over by somebody.
Carjack, shot.
Yeah, it's like going to Baltimore. I don't do that either.
Yeah.
Yeah, no thanks.
No.
But guys, thank you so much. I'm going to go do some thumbnails and get my videos uploaded. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. And have a great week, everybody.
Hey, make some thumbnails for me and send them over.
Yep.
Hey, send me some ideas on Instagram. I can work it up.
I'm just joking with you.
No, seriously. If you have a screen grab, you want a thumbnail, send it to me. I'll work it up into a thumbnail.
I don't have anything.
All I do is I go through my video, I find a shot of me making a goofy face, and I take a screen grab of it, and I add text, I blur the background, I do this, that, and the other thing, and then voila, Bob's your uncle, I have a thumbnail.
Okay.
So we can work on that. I'm willing to help.
I know.
And Jarvis, I got to order that epoxy.
You said you had it.
Little bit of sandpaper, John. Just sand out that.
I have sandpaper.
Just sand it just lightly is all you need to do, just so that glue grabs.
I have the sandpaper. I just need to order the epoxy. Oh yeah, I have a video already up in the noggin working on how to do this. Probably like Adventure Man style, in the backyard, in the grass, doing it like Bear Grylls.
I gotta watch a video on how to put these on.
What is that?
That's lens covers for the Insta 360.
Yeah, don't bother.
Oh yeah. Be very careful. Make sure you clean the glass first.
Yeah.
And with that, we're gonna say goodbye. We're gonna wish Andy all the luck in the world.
Right.
And maybe next time we see you, Roadie Rides will be riding a street glide like he should. Bye.
Road glide forever.